Even on the chat,
my
it says
goodness.
twitch.tv/flipping out pinball.
What a
You got
terrible
everything going.
start. What a terrible start. I didn't realize that the video of the countdown and the audio are totally different like sources. So I zoomed up the audio and not the video and whatever. So sorry we're late. We were going to say we're going to blame Travis, but it was my fault. Yeah. I definitely started everything on the stream without actually hitting the start streaming button. So, you know, Trumpachi, thank you. I'm embarrassed for it. Yeah, you know, it's a lot of work to like produce this, you know, get all the cameras, bring in all the feeds.
No, it's not.
I mean, Travis, go ahead and go.
No.
Let's hear all the work that you did for your setup because well, first mute your dang thing. Yeah, Travis, let's see. I mean,
that wasn't me.
You
That
had
was probably
me.
Craig.
Sorry.
Yep,
It was
see.
me.
Nah, Craig's a professional. So, Travis,
What are you wanting to see?
I want to hear all the work that you had to go through to, you know, be here tonight. I see you have a chair, so good job.
I got some green tea,
Ooh.
so that's a plus.
Okay.
I found a cord, and yeah, I just threw it together in the last 30 minutes or so. You can tell.
Are you in your closet?
It feels like it. So I got put at the new house. I got put in the basement area in a little 8x10 room. So I've got now no sound treatment. So I'm trying to avoid the reverb.
Yeah.
I got no lights set up. My main camera is
It's packed away.
down,
This is a webcam.
It's like down here in the corner.
Yeah, yeah.
No, this is not a webcam. It just looks like a webcam because my lighting is so crappy right now. No, I got like a Canon M50 on right now. So
Well,
yeah.
here, let me
stuff.
turn this off. I want to be like Travis and only light half my face, you know? Is that the cool thing to do?
No, because my light's in the wrong spot too. So I can't do anything about
Your light's
it.
in the wrong spot, but you don't have
It
a cord long enough to move it.
It is what it is. I asked for a static photo and Joel said no.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
I tried to save everybody from this.
No, let me I got one static photo I can turn on here. Let me find it. It was from the
What are you
last
gonna
time
do?
we did 4 and it's this one right here. That was you know, that's not fair to Mike, you know, to have that turned on. So but just
Tom's a model, though.
Tom is a model. He's a good-looking dude. Yep. All right, let's there we go. Okay, so for everybody that's here tonight, Jordan, thanks for being here. Yeah, but we'll go around. This is the TPN After Hours stream. We try to do this, I don't know, every few weeks just to chat it up, have a good time. Real quick, we'll go through all the important stuff real quick. So just my face for a second. Here's the calendar over here. So Sunday night, Jordan and Becca. Monday nights are Frisco. That's Hottie Pinball. Tuesday nights, Mike, who's on tonight. Mike Castleman and his family, Carter and Lisa. And then, I don't know, I think Rob, I don't think he streamed earlier, but he'll be streaming Friday. Here we are flipping out. And then Thursday night will be Chuck Wirt, straight down the middle. George, Don't Panic Flip. And then Jedi will be on Saturday. So there's all that good stuff. And then our sponsors, way to go, Joel, not have the playfield camera on. There we go. We have 8 awesome sponsors. Comet Pinball for all your LED needs. Mezzle Mods for any sort of mod that you want to add in your game. Does anybody on the call have anything from Mezzle Mods in their games?
Yes, I have a small little I don't know what to call it, like a ball save on the Avengers that prevents the ball from getting stuck.
Nice. Okay.
It's like a little finger protector. I don't know what they call it. It's
On
just
the
a little
pop bumper?
piece of, yeah, on the pop bumper. Yeah,
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
I
I
have.
don't
that is
have
my
any.
one and only purchase.
I
Hey,
don't have any
that's
on my current games, but I've definitely had some on games that have come and gone.
nice. Yeah, I have. There's a like a ramp light kit for turtles that I have from Mesomods that's really good. I swear I have more than that, but Scorbit, Jay and his crew make an awesome device to put in any of your pinball machines to connect them to the internet. I have it in TNA. Stern Pinball, obviously they're they're probably the biggest pinball manufacturer. They make some great pinball machines. Speaker light kits, you're going to see those in the background of my games. I have those on Turtles, and then I have a set for Deadpool I just haven't put in yet. Pinball photos, they make some great cool pictures to throw on your wall and other cool game accessories. Check them out. Flipping Out Pinball, I don't know, decent distributor. If you wanna call him, he may or may not answer, but Zach and Nicole are great. If you need anything pinball related, hit them up. And then Pinmonk, Victor is the man. Victor Ireland, he makes some awesome mods, as well as his flipper fans and the silent fans that you can add in games. So I think that right there was all the tidy work. We can knock that out. Any of you have anything to say about any of those sponsors?
I really want to try out the Pen Monks. I feel like I need those. Aren't those the fans for the
Yeah.
flippers? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a set.
Oh, you got to use those, Travis. Jeez.
Those work
If
pretty
anyone
well.
needs them, you do them. Yeah.
I don't have the flipper fans, but I have a set of the quiet fans that you put in your sterns so they don't sound like airplanes are taking off when you have your games on. Yeah.
They work great.
I have to install them. I haven't installed them yet, but I have a set to put in my games.
Yeah,
they're fantastic.
here's a set of the flipper fans. So it's basically just a mounting bracket like that, and then a fan that goes straight on the coil, keeps it nice and cool. I have a set. He sent me a set for Godzilla, and I had him in Godzilla, and then when he sold Godzilla, I took him out. So I will, if I own Godzilla again one day, they'll be going right back in.
I feel like that would be a necessary mod for like GNR or something like that. Something where you got to chimp flip a lot.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, I had a GNR, and I mean, I haven't played very many of them, so I can't speak for the other ones, but it felt like mine needed them almost from the get-go.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
GNR's huge. If you look at any of Carl D'Angelo's stuff with IE Pinball, when he streamed GNR, he actually had like flipper coil temperature cameras because he was testing the fans for Pinmonk, and you can see not only that the flippers were going up, but also like there was a diverter that was getting hot. So it was GNR is a big one. I know Stranger Things. Stranger Things was a game that later on in the game, backhanding that left ramp became almost impossible. So there are definitely games that I think the flipper fans help more or are needed more than others. But I've gotten used to just putting them in all my games. Not to mention the silent fan. I know, Mike, you were mentioning that earlier. The silent fan is a must for all modern sterns.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, and his product description. Yeah, Jordan, you're right. His product descriptions are pretty great. And Mike, I was telling you earlier, his the insert colored insert things for Rush are awesome.
Yep.
Highly suggest those. He's made those for a bunch of games, but yeah,
I've got them for my Avengers as well. They're awesome.
He is awesome. But
yeah, I have some for Iron Maiden. It's perfect because like it helps you with the game too because it matches the mode to the mode shots, right, as opposed to just the white colors around the. Definitely helps.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, yeah, we'll go around. We'll do real quick introductions. So yeah, just who you are, what you do, and what was the last game of pinball you played. My name is Joel. I stream for Flippin' Out, so I'm streaming tonight, and then tomorrow night I'll be streaming out on the Flippin' Out channel. I also do the Triple Drain podcast and the Just Another Pinball podcast on TPN. Last game I played was TNA. We had friends over for my son's birthday, and we had TNA gets played a lot when people are over. That's the game that people gravitate towards. So that was me. We'll just go around the circle. So Craig, go for it.
Yeah, my name's Craig Bobby. I do the Stern News on the Pinball Show with Zach and Dennis, which usually airs on Monday. The last game of pinball I played was, of course, the Avengers, which is directly behind me. And I had a thought today as I was playing the Avengers again, because I've had this game now for almost 2 years, a year and a half. It's incredible how fast the time goes. But I was thinking I really feel like I've peaked on this game. And at one point I was playing 5 balls just to kind of get into the groove and find shots and get a little further into the game so I wasn't getting so frustrated. I've now gone back to 3. But I've decided now that this game, although I love it, when you are not, this is going to sound like a general statement for pinball, but when you're not hitting your shots on the Avengers, it is so ridiculously frustrating. And the problem with the Avengers is that beyond not hitting your shots, or when you're not hitting your shots, it's hard to find other things that you love about the game because the animations aren't great, the callouts are okay. The lights show is fantastic and the art's fantastic with Zombie Yeti, but it's a very frustrating game, I find. I thought when Zach and Greg from Straight Down the Middle did a review, and Greg said, it was probably the most maddening game he'd ever played. I feel him there. I definitely feel like this game can have me go from 0 to like 10 anger level in 10 seconds.
But
and it's all because you're not hitting your
yeah,
shots. You
but
hit a
it's
shot,
your
boom,
fault.
gone.
It's your fault.
It's my fault.
Yeah,
I know.
it's not.
So it's brutal. Yeah. It's brutal. When you're hitting when the game is flowing, and you're hitting it, it's like the greatest game on earth.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But there's a high and a low with this game that is unbelievable, which I'm not sure I feel with many other pinball games. With many other machines that I've played over the years. I didn't feel it with Rush, even though Rush can be a brutal game. Anyway, that's just how I feel about the Avengers at the moment.
Yeah. Hey, Lowell, how you doing, man? Played Pinball Panic. Thank you for sharing the stream. Played an Avengers on location, just didn't enjoy it at all. I assume because I didn't. Yeah, Avengers. Keith talked about that when I interviewed him on Godzilla. That he really threw some crazy rules into Avengers, and I think people that are just introduced to the game, it can be overwhelming. But once you understand the rules, it's unlike any other. Like that game, there's some really cool stuff you can do with it. But the game shoots well. But you're right. There's not much more animations or a light show or something that's pulling you in. And if you're not hitting those shots, then yeah, I don't know. I mean, Craig, once you get another game in your possession, I think you're gonna have that same roller coaster with most any games. But I see. Did you get the lit shooter rod there? I see that blinking in the background.
I did. I got the gem shooter rod. Yeah, I've had that for a little while now. That's a fantastic mod for the Avengers. I really like that.
Nice.
It just draws you in when you see that. When you see the game, especially in a low light environment like that.
Yeah.
And they did a great job with that.
And you have, do you have Rush and Godzilla on order? Or you have another game coming, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. So just waiting. The distributor contacted me the other day. I saw his name pop up in my email. My heart was like beating. I'm like, oh God, does this mean it's coming? And he was saying, oh, we're actually getting some Mandalorian Pros, and a while back you were interested in it. Are you still interested? And I was like, oh God damn it, no, I don't want that fucking Mandalorian Pro.
They did get some Godzillas though, because my friend just got one from the same distributor. But I think they only got like 3 or 4, and they're getting another 2 next month or something. It's
slow. And I don't doubt I'm way down the list. I didn't jump on putting my name in the hat real fast on that one. I was probably a good, I don't know, a month to 6 weeks before I really committed to it. So,
well, when you get it, you'll like it. But
I'm in no rush.
Well, Craig, thanks for being here. We'll keep going. Mike, go for it, man.
All right. Well, I'm Mike from Pinballers. Last game I played is the Rush that's sitting behind me. We streamed that earlier today because the new code that got updated on the game. There was actually quite a bit of changes, a lot of significant changes, including like a wizard mode added and a lot of tweaks and stuff. New video. There's tons of different rules, bunch of achievements. I think there's new wizard mode. Yeah, we actually ended up getting there on the last game we played. Carter finished it, and it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. No, I watched some of your stream this afternoon. You do stream you do stream Tuesday nights for the Pinball Network, but
Yes.
you also do like some random like daytime streams. So
Yeah, so usually Monday and Fridays I'll stream sort of in the afternoon, like after work, before supper kind of thing.
nice.
And then throw in a stream randomly here and there if we feel like it, like we did today.
Yeah.
Code updated, so I thought, yeah, it might be a good chance to stream it and show it and see if we can, get to the wizard mode or anything. So
Well, if you happen to be one of those people that sits at a computer all day when you work, definitely give the pinballers a follow on Twitch, because it's nice. I see that notification pop up, and it's like, shoot, I could turn that on right now while I'm working. So it's rare to have good pinball streaming during the day. So yeah,
Well,
appreciate that.
Thank you.
So give them a follow. And that lives us to with our last guest here, Travis Turi. Is that what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm Travis, the second best member of the Triple Drain Pinball Podcast after Tom Graff.
Yeah, 100%.
And yeah, I'm glad to be here. I play competitive pinball, currently ranked, I don't know, somewhere up there, 18th. 18th overall, 18th.
Get out of here.
What website is it? Where do I go to see this? I don't believe this.
IFPA. I'm on the front page, Joel.
IFPA, right?
All you making fun of me, Joel.
I know you're on the front page, but 18 is way higher than you were last time you were bragging about it.
Sure.
Does Tom know that?
Yeah,
Does
you're
Tom
18.
know you're that high?
Yeah,
You're 18.
yeah, he does. Well, the problem is I got up to, I think, 14 or 15, and then Europe had a massive tournament series just last week, and Johannes just blew it up, and he just flew past all of us once again,
Okay.
like he always does.
So not to interrupt your thing, but I am interrupting you. So IFPA, I see over here, there's the World Pinball Player Rankings, and that's where I see your 18th. What is Power 100? Because you're not 18th on that.
No, that is your record against the top 250 players in the world based off your last 3 years.
Okay.
So basically, if you're like me, so I got a good story behind that. Why my Power 100 isn't like anywhere near. I think I'm like 45%, and you got to be over 50%.
Okay.
So what happened is I was at Pinburg in 2019. And I think some people might have heard this story a little bit, but there's 2 tournaments that used to be there. So rest in peace, Pinburg. If people don't know about it, it used to be in Pittsburgh every August for the last few years. And there was legitimately over 900 people, like close to 1,000 that would play in this big, massive tournament. It was a major tournament, the biggest in the world. And unfortunately, due to COVID, it went away. So the very last one that they had was 2019. And I was playing so bad during that tournament that legitimately somebody asked me if it was my very first tournament I've ever played in, because it was their first tournament.
Oh, boy.
But they weren't trolling or anything. They were trying to be so nice. And I was just like gritting through my teeth like, no, I played before. So there was another tournament there, though, to where it's a limited entry to where you try to put up a high score and your scores count over so many different games. And everybody plays the secondary tournament or side tournament as well. Well, my problem is I played 2 of them, or I did 2 games, and I got so frustrated. I just said, screw it. I went to go get me a beer, and I never came back to it. So I just completely forgot about it. And then I ended up taking, out of like 600 people or however many people were in it, I took 3rd or 4th to last completely. So basically everybody in front of me just killed me. And I've done that a couple of times at different classic tournaments. Like I'll put in 1 card, and then I'm just like, I really don't feel like playing this anymore. And then I just kind of just leave it. So, if you're wanting in the Power 100, you can't necessarily do that. If you're going to play in the tournament, you better go all the way for it. So
if we look at that again, so this is the actual overall ranking. So this is all just based on Whoppers. Our good friend Ray Day is number 1, as he should be. But Neil Graff, that would be Tom's son.
Yeah.
Look at that, 9th.
Right under Keith Elwin.
Yeah. And then there you are, Travis. Great picture, by the way. I mean, wonderful.
Thank you.
That's nice and blurry, and
it's perfect. Yep. Just like right now.
Yeah. And then Tom is below you still. So I don't know how he feels about that, but well done. Way to do well with that. And then Power 100, you're not even top 100. So
No.
Yeah. But look at that guy, Keith Owen, number 1. Bam. One thing I do want to point out, which is kind of absurd. So Travis is 18th, right, with 569 Whoppers. So that's 18th in the world. If we look at number 1, Ray Day has 1,000. I mean, he is number 1 by such a large margin. It's absurd.
Yeah, he destroys everything.
Yeah.
It's just it's insane.
Yeah.
So if you play in his group, it's hilarious because he sometimes he's kind of like Keith does this all the time too, to where they have bad ball ones, right? And you're
Yeah.
like, okay, I got a chance. I got a legit chance here. Yeah. And then ball 2 happens, you're just like, frick, I may not have a chance. And then ball 3 happens, you're just like, okay, the game's done. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's just it's proof in the pudding that players like that, they're not necessarily going to blow up every single ball, but at least 2 out of their 3 balls, they're most likely going to play it very consistent. And their very consistent is usually above average for 99% of the people in the world. That's what makes them very difficult to play against.
These guys are absurdly good. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's just like I know you're a pretty good player, Travis. I mean, top 18 in the world, but like Ray Day is a whole nother level, man. I mean,
there's
it's just
different levels
Ray Day,
to it.
Escher. Well, that's what that whole like the top 5 are almost in a completely different world of their own. Or even maybe top 10 are in a completely.
Don't forget
it's
Eric Stone, eh?
Yeah.
Like I don't know where he sits right now, but he hasn't been playing any tournaments. That guy is unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Some of these players, but
yeah.
Well, cool. Travis, what was the last game
he's
you played?
2. Eric is number 2. Sorry, on the Power
Is he?
100. Yeah,
Power
he's
the Power 100, yes, but in the overall, I don't
overall
think
is Escher. Escher's
Honestly,
Escher's
I would probably say out of all the players, the one that I would least want to play against would be Eric Stone.
Yeah,
just because
definitely.
he's highly talented, but his drive to win and his competitive nature is just insane. Like
he's not afraid to he's not afraid to grind, right? Like if he
no,
needs to
not
grind,
at all.
yeah.
And it's almost like we joke around about this all the time. It's almost like he levitates above the pin and refuses to let the ball drain. It is the damnedest thing. And the ball always finds his flipper. And even if he misses a shot, it's like it gets right back on a flipper. It's rare to see him spin out of control. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. There's just some awesome players out there. I mean, probably legitimately, there's probably 10 to 15 players that are just on a whole nother level, but then there's another 50 that at any point in time, they can put up some crazy games as well. So, I mean, it's just fun going around and competing.
Eric Stone, who they're talking about, is 35th. And then I see T-Mick, you asked, does Carl play? Yeah, Carl does play. He's 39th.
Yeah.
But I don't think Carl travels nearly as much as some of these guys here in the upper.
No,
I mean,
if he did, he would be ranked top 20, top 15 easily.
Yeah, there's no doubt
he doesn't play
Carl's-
in disc either, right? Like he doesn't
runs
play,
it.
he just runs it.
Cool.
He misses out on those whoppers.
Travis, what was the last game you played?
I played Beatles earlier today, as a matter of fact. My first
you have a
game
Beatles,
in a couple of days. I went to CP Pinball and I played like an Indy 500 and Game of Thrones and a couple other games recently.
So
very cool.
Travis here has a new job. We talked about it a little bit on Triple Train, but Travis is working for the Pinball Company, which is a pinball distributor in Missouri. That's why he moved. They just have, I don't know. Apparently you're like a marketing guy. They're going to like use your face on things.
Yeah. So I'm basically the director of marketing, and there's just a bunch of other stuff down the pipeline that I wish I could say right now, but I can't, unfortunately. But I'll just put it this way. There's a reason why I was willing to move out of state or something like this. So it's a unique opportunity. I'm pretty excited, but just the chance to work in pinball is pretty exciting too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's great, Travis.
Tom's here. I thought Mike was Elwin for half a second. Dude, what if we got Elwin on here? Let's give a shout out to Tom Graff here. This is also a shout out to Ray Day. The new code here. Let's see if I can find it.
Before I forget, Mike, Craig, I'm working on the beer.
Working on it.
Right there.
It's nearly in.
So that's the new wizard mode that's added. And if you look, the default initials are TRG. Those are Tom Graff's initials. So Tom Graff is officially in a pinball machine. He made
you arrived when?
Definitely. Yep.
So
he got
shout
the
out.
awesome one too. Isn't his name on the wizard mode?
Yeah.
One, is that what you said?
Yep.
So that means his initials for the majority of games out there will stay on there.
Yeah.
It won't get covered up instantly.
Yeah. Which is awesome. Yeah. I actually messaged Ray way early on, and I said, "Hey Ray, if you want to make a grown man cry, you got to put Tom's initials in the game." And I don't know if that was a direct thing or if he wrote it down then, but I'm raise the man for following through. So, well done, Tom. That's awesome, man. I'm proud of you.
I'm glad he finally put that out though, because we've known about this for a few weeks now, and we've not been able to say anything because I wanted it to be a surprise for Tom. But it was like the hardest surprise to like hold in.
Yeah.
It was even worse than telling my kids what they got for Christmas. I just wanted to tell Tom so bad.
Yeah. Tom's just probably sitting there in front of his pinball machine staring at it, even though he's
He
used to
probably-
seeing his own initials on his game.
No,
But
he did one of two things. He either sat there and cried, which I can appreciate as a grown man that
Yeah.
just loves Rush, or he took all that Rush beer that Phil Birnbaum brought him and he just like shook it up and just dumped it all over him and everything.
yeah.
I mean, it's one of the two things, maybe both at the same time. I don't know. It's Tom Graff.
Yeah.
He probably did both.
Well, everybody that's in, I almost crashed my car when I saw it. Don't do that, Tom. That would not be, it would quickly turn to an immemorial or whatever. Yeah. But no, that's awesome.
Tom driving cars worries me sometimes. Since Tom's not on here, I'll let him come on eventually. He can defend himself in the next podcast. But Joel, remember this.
Got it. Okay.
Driving in Denver. Just remember those two
Okay,
things.
we'll bring it up.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Well, everyone, thank you for everybody that's in chat. We will absolutely be reading chat. So if there's anything you want us to talk about or any comments, please let us know. And we will, we're all here just wanting to chat and talk about pinball. A few of the things we'll probably talk a little bit about the new Rush code. And then, Craig had listed out a few things, but we're going to talk about that. I know, just recently the TPN podcast, there was a little bit more deep root talk. We can look at some of the photos they were talking about, but if there's anything specific, chat, if there's anything at all that you want us to dive in on, or if you have questions or whatever, just throw it in and we're here to talk it up. So just let us know. But yeah, let's go real quick. So Mike, you're the only one of the four of us that have actually played the new Rush code.
Yes.
Was there anything that stood out or what was, yeah.
There wasn't any big game changing changes. There was just like tweaks here and there, and then they added a couple things. So the things that they added that I know of offhand are the right orbit now gives you a drum bonus.
Okay.
So what the drum bonus is as you're hitting the pop bumpers, the timer goes up, and every time you pass an hour, like if you reach 4 o'clock, then the orbit will light up for 1 million points times the number on the clock. So if you're at 11 o'clock, it's worth 11 million points. So that was new, added to the game. They also added the wizard mode, the Cygnus X1 Book 1, I guess, wizard mode. And to get there, you have to have played all the multi-balls in the game.
Okay.
You don't have to, there's no prerequisite for, super jackpots or anything like that. You just have to play the multi-balls, which doesn't sound too bad. But the time machine multi-balls, the second multi-ball, you need to hit that shot 10 times in order to get the multi-ball. And then the second one is 15 times to get the multi-ball. So, and that feed is random as it's coming down. It's never, it's always different. So it's tough to get to because of the hitting the time machine shot so many times. But
so multi-ball, there's 3 time machine multi-balls, and then how many are on the scoop? Is there Far Cry, or how many are
so
there?
There's Far Cry on the scoop.
Yep.
There's the 3 multi-balls, like you mentioned. There's a free will multi-ball behind the drops. And then there's a headlong multi-ball on the right orbit.
Oh, so the scoops, there's only one multi-ball there?
It's just the Far Cry. Yep.
So Far Cry, there's the one with the instruments, there's the one with the drums, with the pops. So that's 3, and then the 3 main types. So just 6.
Yeah.
6 multi-balls.
Yeah, you have to have played all 6 of those multi-balls, and then it's lit. There's no prerequisite to light the wizard mode after that. Once you drain out of the last multi-ball, you're shooting it right up the middle to start the wizard mode.
You hit the ramp.
I would even suggest, if you have a ball trapped on your favored flipper for hitting the shot, you could drain out of one of the multi-balls and just go right into the wizard mode. It's definitely worth it, at least right now. The
points,
so.
it was good points.
Yeah. Carter got 562 million points through the mode, so nice. It doubled his score going into it. So it's pretty good. On the code now, before you could easily get billions, per shot.
So
but now it's balanced.
So the drum, you're saying if it's 11 o'clock, there's one shot, right orbit, it's 11 million points. Is
Yeah.
that something you can hit over and over again, or it's just a one-time shot?
No,
of
it's
11?
just a one-time shot. It'll turn the shot yellow when it's lit.
Okay.
And so there's ways of multiplying the shot though. When you finish a song, if you choose to hit the right orbit, it will, instead of previous code making it 3x, it now makes it only 2x. And then after that, you can actually get it to go 3x. So for every additional multiplied shot or song you finish during that song, you'll get another multiplier on it. So you can get that shot to actually be about 4x.
Yeah.
Right. And then you can, once you go in the in lane, it doubles that shot. So the left in lane will double your drum bonus, kind of like the right in lane lights your drum bonus. Is it your drum bonus on the left?
You're saying the right orbit the one you cash out, or you cash out through the pops on
The
the left?
right orbit, I'm sorry, I'm confusing you guys. The right orbit is where you collect the new drum bonus.
Got it.
But there's a drum bonus, or what's the bonus that you get from the
Drum
left
solo?
orbit?
Is it the drum solo?
No,
That might be it.
That's the drum bonus also. That's activated through a in-lane switch.
Okay,
on the
so then
right-hand side.
they're both drum bonuses. Then,
Okay.
then.
Yeah. Okay.
Just different ways of activating them. Then.
Tom, yes. Carter overwrote your wizard mode. So if
Yeah.
it was what I think the default's 500 million, and I think Mike said he got over 500 million. So
yeah, I think
Carter
it was
finished it though,
562. Right? He finished it, and then you go into victory lap. So the wizard mode itself is, I mean, if you don't want to listen, you can turn me off or whatever for spoilers. But you have the planets, which are the modes in the game are planets. If you look at the little inserts, and then you choose a planet, and each planet has different rules, and you have to do like 10 sort of shots to finish the planet to move on to the next one. And I believe once you finish 4 planets, then you just go into victory laps.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, feel free on Twitch, the Pinballers, all one word. I would assume your VOD of you doing that earlier today's up. So if you want to see the wizard mode, check that out. And then, tomorrow I'll probably be streaming Rush. Doubt I'll get to the wizard mode. But what is cool is if you hold the buttons in now, it is a mode that I could go straight to. So probably something I'll be showing off tomorrow night on the Flippin' Out stream. So we got some good questions in here. Jordan asked, I haven't played a ton of Godzilla, but know there's some stuff that hasn't been finished in the code. What's still left to be programmed? I don't know, man. Do you guys, I mean, they're at what, like 0.93 or something? I mean, I don't know where they're at, but there's already a ton in it. Travis probably knows stuff that's not released, but
no comment.
Yeah, it'll be good. Whatever's going to be added. I do know, and when I interviewed Keith, I was giving him a hard time because when you light Mothra, it says the insert says outlanes lit, or it's something like light outlanes, plural outlanes. But as of right now, the only thing that's lighting is the left outlane, which is Mothra. And I remember telling that to Keith. I was like, why does the insert say outlanes and only the left outlane is lit? And he goes, well, I haven't programmed the right outlane yet. So apparently the right outlane, there's a whole thing that's going to be programmed there. So as I don't think that's been added yet into the code. And the right outlane is like the oxygen grenade.
Yeah, there's an insert there or something.
That's going to be a whole thing. That's all I know. So Hobbit's Third Flipper, best name on Twitch, by the way.
What do you think?
Is that a power?
What do you think that could possibly be, though? If the right outlane is showing that,
and you go over it,
yeah.
On Keith Elwin's games, a lot of, like, if you look at like Jurassic Park and all that, it's just like a bonus. It's like your Nedry bonus or whatever. It might just be something along those lines.
There's no way he would like give you an opportunity to like hit a shot and save your ball or something, would he? Like something.
I don't
know.
know.
No, because you have the Mothra on the left outlane, right?
But if it goes over the right and it's like, oh, you just but that wouldn't work in a multi-ball. It would, if it was a single ball, like we're gonna spit out the ball and you got 5 seconds to hit a shot to save it. That would be pretty cool.
Well, what I'm kind of thinking of is I don't remember the last game in the past few years to where it's had some type of mini mode that could come up, at least on the stern, to where once you go through the outlane, you get like 15, 20 seconds to try to resurrect your ball, do something with it.
Yeah.
I know that they did that with, what was it, Coma on GNR. So stuff like that, I kind of enjoy, but I
Yeah, that
don't
would be
recall
awesome.
a Stern doing that in recent memory. I know there's been games in the past that have done something similar to that, but I don't know. That just food for thought. I don't know if Elwin
Yeah.
would ever do that on one of his pins, but I feel like that's something that's been missing for the past few years, out of a Stern at least.
Well, it's got to be beneficial because remember the insert says light out lanes plural. So it's got to be, I mean that's a reward. So Elvira apparently has something like that. Or at least Blake is
So
saying
that
Elvira.
that reward will eventually light both the out lanes.
Yeah, it'll be both are lit. Now whether or not it's like, well, if you drain out the left, then the right one goes out as well. I don't know. But there's something, I know there's something still there that he hasn't done, but besides that I have no idea. All right.
Well, the crazy part about it is the game's already jam packed.
There's so much.
I mean,
Mhm.
it's once you really wrap your head around what the rule set is, it's hard to find any more meat on the bone, at least for us common mortals. I mean, I'm sure somebody like Elwin, he's figured it out already, but there's just already so much into it. And now seeing how the power ups work and everything, I mean, it's really cool. Just the little nuances that get put on top of each other and the decisions that you get to make throughout the game. And I think that's what makes his game so much fun is the fact that you can kind of play it like chess because you have 5 or 6 different options that you can go. And because of the way that the scoring is and the way it's balanced, all of them are viable strategies to use, as opposed to how some of these games are to where it just becomes one thing to do and it's chopping wood. And there's nothing in Godzilla, at least early, close to the start button and even mid game, that feels like chopping wood. And I think that's a sign of a great coded game.
Mhm.
It's do you regret, Travis, you were, what was it? You were in on an LE and then you second guessed it and then do you regret not getting that LE at this point?
Nah, because I'm going to get a premium.
Nah.
It's fine.
Nah.
Yeah, I didn't need $20,000. It's cool. It's fine. Fine.
Mike, you guys
Monica's
have
not mad at me at all. You know, it's cool.
You have one. You have the Pro, right?
Yeah, we have the Pro. I haven't had a chance to actually play the game a lot recently.
Okay.
But that game still, I can't wrap my head around it. There's a lot in the game. Like I'm still trying to figure out, paths to scoring and stuff like that and progression. It's really, really deep. And I find that Elwin games do that to me.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
most of the other
Yeah.
games I play, eventually I can wrap my head around them and, get a good strategy going. But these ones, like especially Godzilla right now,
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time trying to
Well-
figure out which.
Well, I'm no rules expert, but I what I do like about Godzilla is if you just want to, if you're a novice or an average player, you can get in, you hit both your ramps, you hit the scoop, you pick a battle, and if that's
Yeah.
all you do in 3 balls, great, but that battle's unique, it's fun, play again and pick a different battle. If you can get through 2 battles, boom, then you have an option to get to one of the second tier battles. If you focus entirely on that, like that alone is a good time. But for the advanced players, each city has their own advantage. Like there's something to each city that you get perks, and then if you happen to destroy the building, destroy a creature, do the tank multi-ball, like if you do all of those in a city before you move the city, then you get this, what is it, destruction bonus or something, and like those compound based on how many cities you can work your way through. It's like that's where the points get absurd is
Yeah, you can get
it's-
huge collects when you
yeah.
change cities and
with
yeah,
that risk
yeah.
reward. Like, do I want to go ahead and leave the city now, or do I want to push it and try to get another multi-ball knocked out of the way before I change the city? And that's where we have a person like Carl that streams it. Like he does it. He just like does everything in one
Yeah.
city, goes to the next one, does everything in another. So then he gets to Planet X, which is like one of the wizard modes, and he's just like his score is just not human because
Like 200, 300 million tanks or something like that.
because he's done everything and everything
Yep.
compounds on top of each other. So I mean that's not how any of us, well maybe Travis on a good day, but that's not how any of us play. I mean like that's just it's awesome. So that's one thing that I think Keith has done well. I mean Jordan was saying, hey, he played an Avengers and it was hard for him to get into it. I think he's actually written Godzilla in a way that it is accessible early on, but yet once you've grasped that, there's so much more there, deeper, if you're ready to dive in. So
The only thing I'd say to argue against beginners or walking up to a game and playing it, yes, you can start a mode, but there's not a gimme multi-ball. Usually you have like your gimme multi-balls in most games, hit the cap to ball a couple times. In Avengers, you get a multi-ball, that sort of stuff. Godzilla, there's no like, oh, just hit this 3 times and you'll get a multi-ball. You got to hit the building or you got to hit the ramps like 8 or 9 times, or the tanks. Everything's worked to get to a multi-ball.
How many shots is it to the building though? Do you know? I mean, it's not 3, but it's...
Well, you got to get the percentage down, right? It's at 100% and you're bringing it down to, I think it's like once you get it to 8%, then the last shot will light your multi-ball, at least on the Pro. I don't know how the premium works because you're actually physically locking the balls, but it's got to be at least, I mean, I've played Geigen through it and you have to hit that 8 times and you still won't have your multi-ball lit after finishing that.
That's through the ramps. But if you just like, as a novice player, if you see that building and you see that it moves and you just think, I'm going to hit the building, I'm curious how many times you actually have to hit that build. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's less than 10 for sure.
The building counts as the ramp, right? The ramps do the same thing as hitting the building. It just does damage to it.
Do less damage.
Does it do less damage to the building?
I think they do double damage.
Oh.
The ramps do.
But if you hit it through the building, that's the most damage, right? Because it'll detect if you just hit it. Like it'll detect if you, because I think he said that it's like a bash toy, but if you actually go through the building, it's more. I mean,
okay.
I don't know. Somebody
I usually do the ramps. I don't do the building because I don't like the feed coming back out of the little loop. But
it's supposed to go through the loop and then hit the magnet grab, right? I guess sometimes. To go through it. Yeah. I don't know.
Other times it'll just go right down the middle, Joel. It's a lot of fun.
If you don't,
if you hit it fast enough, it's coming around there. The magnet's not gonna grab it. The ball's just gonna fly through it.
Yeah. I don't know. You're right. It's a good point. I mean, I know Thor in Avengers. Yeah, you barely have to touch that thing, and bam, you're in a multi-ball.
You could nudge a loose tilt Avengers and get a multi-ball out of it.
Is that legal? If you did that in,
if the game allows it, if you can get away with it,
as long as the main tournament director of the facility or of the tournament doesn't explicitly state beforehand, hey, my decisions are going to override. Yeah. You can do that with like Dracula Mistball. You can do that with the Well Walker and Walking Dead. Yeah, you can shake and make something happen on the game.
Huh, okay. All right, what do we got here? Knee Kick Lou, great name. Ordered a Pro. So I think you'll love it. I think Godzilla, I don't know. I would love to talk to somebody who like had the game and sold the game. Like I want to hear,
doesn't like it.
Yeah, I want to hear the negatives. And I mean, Mike, you've even mentioned, here's your, these are some of the hesitations you're having with it. But there's a lot of love. There's a lot of love for Godzilla.
Oh yeah, no, my hesitation isn't anything against the game itself. It's just for me, it's like it's overwhelming trying to figure out what I want to do in the game and get through it. It's that deep.
Yeah.
So I just need to spend more time on it.
Sure.
I did talk to one person that sold their game, and the reason why that they sold their game kind of blew me away, and I didn't even know where to go with the conversation after they told me this, but they said that there's nothing to shoot at. So I was just kind of like, yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, that was their reason for selling it. They said that there was nothing to shoot at, and just they didn't feel like the shots were doing anything. I was just like, were you hitting the post? Like, what are you talking about right now? But yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you that there's a lot of different opinions out there.
Yeah.
A lot of variety of opinions. And sometimes even a game that's just universal acclaim, there's still bound to be a couple of people out there that the game just doesn't click with.
And you know what? Well, those are valid opinions. So go ahead, Craig.
Well, if Dennis Creasel has one, then you got to know it's a great game.
Dennis Creasel, who like, he's a very critical person. He knows pinball history. He has a very unique collection. Dennis Creasel, without hesitation, says, I think it's the best game Stern's ever made. And if he was the guy writing Pinside Top 100, he would have Godzilla as number 1. That's ridiculous. Like, that says a lot. But Jeff, what do we have here? Swackhammer. By the way, what a name. Swackhammer. Jeff Swackhammer. Love it, man. I like mine, but don't love it. The theme isn't resonating. No real moments and not a tournament player. That's, you know what? I'm with you. I don't care at all about Godzilla. I look at it more as just a campy game. Like, I enjoy the humor in the game. But I get it.
When the building falls, that's not a real moment. Now maybe he doesn't have a pro, but or doesn't have a premium.
Jeff, do you have the Pro or the Premium? Because the Pro, there are definitely more visual moments
Yeah.
in the Premium.
Oh,
for
no.
sure.
Well, the Premium and LE blow the Pro away. There's no
Mhm.
doubt about that. I mean, it's just it's funny because it's one of those things. A lot of these games you could tell like there's not too much difference in terms of gameplay from the Pro to the Premium.
Yeah.
But with Godzilla, there's a noticeable difference in overall atmosphere and everything. So I mean, if you're looking at different games to buy, I mean, both still play great. But yeah, definitely the Premium and LE. It's just a whole entirely different experience.
Yeah.
Another thing about it is too, though, and we talked about this off podcast, Joel, that if somebody really isn't into a theme, then that means the moments that happen
Yeah.
within that game, they may not resonate as much for somebody if they're fully invested in the theme. So, meaning like somebody like Tripod Tom that's in the chat, he probably loves every moment of Rush, like every moment of Rush, from when he hits a start button to when he just hits a flipper. He probably even loves it when he drains. Like that's how much he loves the
Mhm.
game.
Yeah.
You know, then you take
Yeah.
somebody like Joel that finds every single post in there.
I find them
You know,
all.
exactly.
Yep.
It's like maybe your experience isn't going to be as great when you're not a fan necessarily of the theme. So, I
Mhm.
mean, I've been there before. I've had certain games to where I just absolutely love the theme, and even if I felt like it didn't play great, its the theme still
Yeah.
brought me into it. And then there's been other games I thought played pretty well, but the theme just didn't resonate with me. Therefore, I didn't feel any moments in it. And for a prime example of this, Hot Wheels for me, like I love the way it shoots, and I actually love how the rule set kind of came together with everything. But the theme itself, I could care less for, so therefore it didn't last too long in my collection. I mean, my kids loved it,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, they're not the ones putting up 8 or 9 grand for a
Yeah.
pinball machine. So, you know, I kind of won that argument with them. But overall, that's just a prime example of how some games could shoot well, rule sets pretty good, but if you're not into the theme, yeah, the moments are
Yeah.
not going to resonate at all with you.
Props to Dennis Zornrith is in chat. That's Dennis Creasel. Dennis, your emoji typing game is top tier. So yeah, a dinosaur plus building plus bridge plus robot equals A plus. Yeah, it's a great game. Jeff, you're probably right. That's why I like Mando the best. I think the four of us can all agree that when it comes to Twippies, Twippies have an award that's best theme. And Godzilla won everything. Godzilla won everything. But realistically, best theme, not best theme integration, but best theme should have gone to Mando.
Yeah, I think so.
I personally think that I was surprised. Mando, I do think now Mando is a better theme. I mean, I don't know. I mean, overall, like Godzilla spans a lot of generations,
Mhm.
but like Mando right now is a bigger theme.
Is it a better pinball theme?
I mean, there are people like Jeff. Jeff's saying here that he likes his Mando more. I think the moments
I
think
love my
Mando,
Mando, too.
yeah, Mando
Yeah.
is really built in. The light show, the Dwight show. Dwight's really good about the moments, the different wizard modes. The fact that
Yeah.
you can really focus on 3 different ones. There are some really good moments. Some really
Oh
good
no,
moments
well,
built into
there's no
Mando.
doubt that there's moments, and there's no doubt that's still a fun theme. But what I'm getting at is we gotta just kind of consider the difference in IP. Like to me, Star Wars is definitely bigger than Godzilla. There's no question about that.
Okay.
But when we're talking strictly pinball themes, right? Which one is it? When you're just thinking through the lens of pinball, is it going to be Godzilla?
So big creature
That's
bashing
been-
buildings, or
Right, that's been around for decades, or is it going to be somebody from a TV show that was a character that just came around just a couple of years ago that has 2 seasons?
It sounds like Travis
Not to-
voted Godzilla for best theme. That's what I'm hearing.
You know what? I didn't vote at all in the Twippies. I completely forgot. But that being said, and I love Mandalorian. I've watched every single show at least 5
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
So, and I had a Mandalorian. So I love Star Wars. But I'm just trying to look at this through a different lens and just think of it from a pinball point of view.
Sure. Yeah, I love my Mando too. I think Chewy is the way I would describe it. Mando's good. I mean, I borrowed one from Zach, and at the time, the code very much felt like chopping wood. But that's where, if you think about it, the middle ramp is what you're hitting for your multi-ball, but the middle ramp is also what you're hitting to get up to the encounter area. And at the time, every single time you exited the encounter, you'd have to work your way back in. Or as soon as you completed an encounter, Am I saying the right word? It's like when you're up there at the helmet. What's it? It's the encounter, right?
Yeah, it's the encounters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but as soon as you'd complete one, you'd get kicked out.
Yeah.
While now they changed the code where as soon as you complete one, you can roll right into the next one, right?
It doesn't matter. I still have to throw the ball up there just as many friggin' times to get all those targets anyway.
But that's where, now that I see that, it's just like, I looked at it and it's like, what do I want to do here? Do I want to go up the middle for the multi-ball again? Or do I want to go up the middle and go for the encounters again? Like, but I think the code has improved since I've played it. And I know, but Mike, you say you and Carter are good players, but you're enjoying your Mando.
Yeah, I do like the Mandalorian. It to be honest, it actually was on the chopping block to go when Rush came. I was all in for getting rid of Mando and replacing it with Rush. Then they added the achievements and some of the code updates, and I just started liking the game. I always felt like the video, the sounds, the music, and everything top notch.
Yeah,
very, very well integrated with the game, like very well. I love the call outs of Moff Gideon in the multi balls and in the game and stuff like that. It's probably my favorite for call outs and video assets and whatnot. There's some gripes with the game as far as chopping wood and whatnot. They did improve it a little bit with the code update where it's, you can't just keep going up the middle. You do have to do the hunter modes in order to relight the center shot. So it makes you do different things as well. Plus the, like you mentioned with the encounters, now you can do all 3 levels in one shot up
if
there,
you
right?
stayed
Like
up
you mentioned.
there.
So
Yeah.
that's very much... that's helpful if you can, hit the targets up there. But it's a good game. I do like it.
Because that's
I will
what,
say
go ahead.
the mini wizard modes on Mandalorian are a lot of fun to play.
They are.
I will say that it's very enjoyable.
They are.
And even
different phases.
Yep.
Yeah, they're good.
Oh yeah, I love the sounds of it. I love the light show, even though it kind of blinds you sometimes. There's one of them that it really blinds you. I think it might even be the encounter one where the whole GI is red and basically just flashing directly in your eyes. Yeah, that one's the only one that's a little bit tough to digest. But other than that, I mean, it's fun when you get to see. Well, I don't want to spoil it for those that haven't been there, but there's one in particular to where it shows what's kind of happening at the end of season 2. So you get to see an iconic character come in. And for me, that's a lot of fun. I did really enjoy that.
Yeah, that's when I had it. I think I was able to get to the multi-ball wizard mode pretty easily. And then even the episode wizard mode I could get to. But the encounter one is one I never got to because at the time, there were 3 encounters you had to do, but each one had 3 phases. And as soon as you completed a phase, it would kick you out. So I had to get up there and complete it 9 separate times. And it was such a grind that it's like I would get through 2 and then it's like, okay, I got through that one. Out, catch, cradle, like get back up. But now that allows you to go phase to phase to phase and complete a whole encounter while you're up there.
It sort of swapped the difficulty between the multi-ball wizard mode and the encounters one. The multi-ball one used to be really easy because you didn't have to qualify anything else to redo it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I find the multi-ball one is one of the harder, if not probably the hardest of the 3 to do now.
Yeah.
If you have the default settings on, you can turn that setting off in your game and have it play the way it did before the code update too.
Yeah.
If you want.
Loser Kid. So this is Loser Kid Pinball Podcast. This is Josh here. Feel free, anybody that's listening, if you're looking for a good podcast, try Triple Drain. If you're already listening to Triple Drain, then Loser Kid, give Loser Kid Pinball Podcast a go. Some of the scoring seems wonky to me on Mando. I played a pro and got insane amounts of points for getting the first tier encounter. Yeah, I mean, I love Dwight. I love what he does, but I do know there are plenty of people. Dwight gets criticized on his tournament strategy things, or I don't know. How do I phrase that?
A lot of
better?
exploits is what you're trying
There's
to
a couple
say.
of things. There's a couple of things you can chase in that game that'll get you some decent points for less work than most other things. Yeah.
Zornith is or Dennis. Feel free to Eclectic Gamers Podcast. Listen to that, or the Pinball Show. I mean, there's way too many people that do podcasts on here. We should listen to them all. They're all great.
You just had me say TGP because I heard tournament, and instead of saying EGP, I just immediately went.
I was like, what the hell is TGP?
We know reading and writing are not your strong suits, Travis. So it's fine. Yeah.
No, not right now. It's not. No.
I think Dennis maybe put it well when he said Mando is more of a moments machine than a score machine. I mean, I think I don't know. I'm not the
No,
tournament
that's
player, but
Yeah.
that's 100%
and
accurate.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, and the thing is not every game needs to necessarily cater to tournament players either.
true.
A lot of it could be, I mean, the vast majority of people that play pinball don't play high level tournaments. And so they just want to enjoy the game. And I think with something like Mandalorian, you could conceivably get through the whole game and enjoy it and not worry about your score at all.
So here was a thought I had, and it stems from I mean, Travis, you and I were talking about Cactus Canyon, but it was a thought that I had that if somebody's brand new to the hobby, they're somewhat of a novice player, and they could buy a game that's available now. So like what's now something that they could potentially get a hold of this game within the next year. So they just need to get their name on a list. And let's say it's less than 10 grand. So if you think about Stern pros that are available, you would have Mando's available, Rush, Godzilla, Deadpool. I think they're making Avengers, Turtles, I think. And then you have Cactus Canyon. You would have Legends of Valhalla. Am I missing something? But like of that list,
There's lots of Halloweens and
there's
Ultramans
yeah,
available.
well, yeah,
I mean,
those aren't.
You
would
get a
have
deal
to-
on those
yeah.
too.
yeah.
But sure,
Yep.
so include those. But if
Yep.
somebody's coming to you and they're saying, "Hey, you're my pinball friend," I
Don't
want to
forget
get in.
P3.
What do we suggest? But like P3,
Weird Al,
you can
yeah.
you're well over a year to get that. But maybe. But it's
Mm.
like, what would we as a pinball person recommend? Like, this is a game that I want them to love. That it's going to get them more invested in the hobby. So I see Dakota Mike, how you doing, buddy? Cactus Canyon's great for beginners, fun, and that was something that Travis and I were discussing at how well that game's built. It's an easy layout, it's accessible, good light show, good animations, like, and potentially that's a game that may be able to grow with them. Somewhat beginner code now, but when that 2.0 comes out, that will be more export code. But then I see Jeff and Dennis both Deadpool. Like, is Deadpool the way to? Is that the game we should be pushing beginners to? I don't know. Well, let's all answer this. Travis, if you want to go first, go for it.
Well, so what's the exact question here, Joel? Like, what theme or what current pin on the market would be best
Yeah.
for just a pure beginner?
So,
like
hey,
somebody that's never played, never owned a pinball machine?
Yeah, you
But
just
wants a
moved
new
in.
game.
You just moved in. Your neighbor comes up and he said, "Hey, Travis, I hear you like pinball. I've been wanting to buy a pinball machine for years. I played, I remember playing in my 20s. What do you suggest? I want a game that my family and I are going to enjoy,
I tell him he needs my Avengers for $20,000. That's what I tell him. I'll bring it over and set it up myself.
Buy
If it's
Rush.
my neighbor
yeah.
coming over. Yeah.
Here.
Is it a
Let's see
working
here.
Avengers though? Does it work yet?
The subway's still broken, but yeah. So maybe 18,000. I don't know. Honestly, out of all that criteria, I'd probably put two games there. For Stern, I would say Deadpool, no question, just because it's a character that everybody knows by now because of the movies.
Okay.
I think it has enough of the campy attitude in the game with the call outs. It's fun. It's something that because of the retro looking LCD screen, I think it could speak to all ages. With something like that, people that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s might remember comic books, reading those back in the 80s, 90s. And of course, everybody's seen the movies pretty much. But yeah, and then there's, like Dennis said, I think he said this in the chat, there's a lot of things close to the start button. You got drop targets.
Yep.
That's on a pro, which is nice. You have a snick shot, which is a lot of fun to hit. And it's just different shots. It's a very much dynamic layout that just is fun to hit the shot. So it makes a lot of sense. So I think if you're going with a Stern, that might be it. I think overall, if you're just wanting a game that is just an easy player, has an all right theme, but looks pretty cool in person, Cactus Canyon might be the way to go. I think that pin right there is a good entry level pin for a lot of people that want to own their first game, just because usually in my experience, CGC games are typically built pretty well. And plus all the shots on there are definitely accessible. And you can conceivably get to the end of the game after a few months of practice, after you kind of get an idea of where you're going with everything. Whereas with a Stern, if you're an average player, it's going to be very difficult to see the end of a lot of those games. But I feel like if you're an average player and you're playing Cactus Canyon, it's highly likely you will see the end of the game at some point.
Sure. I think that's good. Mike, do you agree with that? Do you have another game in mind?
Yeah, you know what? I agree with that. I think Deadpool is pretty accessible. I would probably favor Cactus Canyon more, only because it's two different rule sets too, right? Is there not? You can play the original set and
Well,
then
the
the
second
new.
one's not out yet.
No, but there will be,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah.
and you'll be able to do that. So, I mean, that puts a ton of longevity into the game, being able to play two different rule sets. Easy, like Travis said, easily accessible shots, and it's a fun theme. Like I just think maybe people might draw to that a little more, less technical, right?
Yeah.
It's more straightforward. But I would say definitely not the Black Knight Sword of Rage. Do
Yeah,
do
yeah.
not approach that
Not
game if
Black
you are a
Knight.
beginner.
And Dennis even said Turtles is too hard, and I
Yeah,
think he's
same
he's
thing.
onto
Turtles, yeah.
something there. I think there is some really cool features for novice players with all the other modes and stuff you can do. But if that's your first game and you're just draining, I mean, that may be where I'd be encouraging them to turn up the ball save or go to 5-ball or more. Knee kick Lou here. He said he was between Deadpool, Zilla, and Avengers. Ended up going Godzilla. Just because there's more stuff to do and it's a great family theme. That's great. So that's Craig. I want to hear your opinion because I do have some thoughts here. But Craig, what
I would probably push people, newbies, coming in to go more toward a Stern machine, just because I think objectively they're the largest of the three companies. It doesn't, or of the main companies that are out there making these things. It doesn't necessarily mean they're always the best, and I'm not trying to suggest that, but I just think for what you're getting for your money and the choice out there of theme and with their inside connected Wi-Fi hookup. I just, which is, only just beginning, and there's, I think, a lot more coming for in that whole system, that I just think you're getting more, and there's just more. Um, I just think out of all the options out there right now in the pinball market, I just think Stern still has the lion's share of choice, and and frankly, almost in every category, I think they are beating the competition right now. That's just my opinion. Um, so I would give a nod to Cactus Canyon though, just because I do think it's interesting that they have taken it's a more retro vibe. I think they've done a great job with that remake, and I do think I'm fascinated by the possibilities of a game like Cactus Canyon and modernizing it somewhat. Um, so I do like the possibility of Chicago Gaming. Again, the problem with them is that they release a game once every 3 years. So there's going to be 3 games in 10 years. That's it's hard to get choice, and you know yeah, it's just hard to get choice when companies are releasing them so slow.
sure. So which one? I mean, it sounds like you're saying you point them towards the Stern, but which?
I would point the toward a Stern. I think honestly that again, when you look at all the theme aside, I do think Godzilla is probably one of the best games that has been made in the last 10 years. So I would tend to push someone towards Godzilla, just because I think it offers so much on the premium of that particular machine. If they were a little more budget conscious and weren't crazy on the theme of Godzilla, I would say probably a Mandalorian or something a little more
Yeah.
contemporary.
So that's what I was thinking was maybe Pro. If we're looking at a Pro model, the two thoughts that came to my mind. One, does Insider Connect, like, does going Stern and Insider Connect, is that a selling point for somebody new to the hobby? Is that a selling point for a family of like, hey, you can get this on there, you can all. So neither of you guys are thinking. I know. What do we see here in chat? Kirk Hobbs is saying Insider Connect should be an option, not a compulsory, purchase. I know my brother, like, I sign in every single time I play. My brother-in-law made an account. He signs in when he plays. But then those are the only two people that have ever signed in any of my games. So it's not like my wife made an account, but she doesn't really care for pinball.
Yeah.
But
any people that come to my house when I have people over that aren't, they're I would call them casual at best.
yeah.
Friends from other areas of life come over to play, and I say, yeah, it's like Xbox. You can get achievements, sign in, whatever. They're like,
Yeah,
it's okay. We'll just play, you know. So,
yeah,
I mean, I think for some maybe older, newer people into it might not be, but us, you know, gamer types who like to chase those achievements, you know,
Hmm.
we love that stuff, and we're looking forward to seeing what other things it brings in. So, if you're talking in the future with all the other features they bring out, that's definitely something to consider for sure.
yeah. But my bigger question was like, why is if Godzilla is loved so much by everybody in the pinball community, it's number one on pin side. Why is Godzilla not the answer? Like, and that to me is it not the best game for somebody brand new to pinball? And the answer maybe no. I mean, Dakota Mike saying personally, I think it's a little too hard for a noob. I think you're right. I mean, there may not
Yeah.
be like maybe it does make more sense to push him towards a Deadpool or towards a Mando, like a Mando, which has some more, I don't know, very clear to do things, clear, moments, or maybe something like Cactus Canyon, which is a little more friendly of a layout. I mean, that's kind of my, is, I mean, is Godzilla the right answer or is it not? Is it not the right answer? And there may actually be a more newbie or new person to the hobby friendly answer to this
You know,
game.
if the outlanes weren't as brutal as they are on Guardians, I would say Guardians would be a perfect choice because it's not a deep rule set.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Hmm.
easy to get into multi-balls. You know, it's the art is fantastic, everything. So I mean, I'd probably throw that into the conversation as well, if not for, you know, the brutal
Yeah.
outlane
Yeah.
trains that it seems to have.
It's a good.
I will say that I think, just to quickly talk about Insider Connect again, Stern did not go through all the trouble they went through to release that mod, that mod, call it, or that feature, just to have extra achievements and to be able to upgrade your game, by Wi-Fi. There's no way they went to all that trouble just to
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
This is going to get way bigger and offers way more possibilities for them. And I think once they do release it, and that's the big once, I think it's going to be no question. Like when you look at it, they're going to be like, oh God, we can go online and play tournaments. My friends come over, we can play other friends that are in other cities. Um, the possibilities, there's a ton of
Yeah.
possibilities there with where they could go with this. And I just think that over time they're going to continue to drive the market and lead the market in that area, and it's when people are looking, they're going to go, oh God, you mean I can do this in addition to playing and loving pinball? I can go online, I can do this, go into tournaments. I just think we haven't seen anything yet on that. I would say it's very early days on that device.
Yeah. And Tom
Very early days.
responded
Yeah.
correctly. I hope so. I agree. I think the potential's
Yeah.
there. I know George Gomez has said that they have big plans, and I hope so. I hope it comes out. But I don't, it was a thought that, I mean, Travis had brought to my attention. Oh, Pinmonk's here, but the dark side is once all machines have it, they will lock down the code. So yeah, I mean, Victor, if
Uh,
I don't know. I mean, maybe I
I don't
know.
think so. I'm more of an optimist in that way. I don't think it's going to be too punishing. But time will tell on that as well.
Because there's some really cool. I don't. There's some really cool stuff, but that like
They're
some
not
of the
gonna they're
mods that
not gonna
people are.
piss off. My feeling is they're not gonna piss off the market that they have just created. Like I think they're gonna attack this very sensitively early on. You know,
Yeah, I mean, I know people are
that's
doing
my
them.
feeling.
I know I have. Like there's some mods for Turtle that are really cool, and I've really thought about putting some of the modded code in there. But I also know I have Insider Connected, like, and I know like I don't know we're like Stern is a sponsor of the stream, so I don't want to stream their game with modded code. I'm trying to be like nice to Stern about it, but that doesn't mean I haven't done it. I haven't played it. So I we'll see there. We'll definitely have to see on that. But I think that's a really interesting thought that always gets thrown at me. I mean, I'm constantly trying to look at my collection as what's a collection that I'm enjoying, but also I want people to enjoy these games. I want people to come into pinball. So I'm trying to always find these games that people want to play when they come into my house. And I do feel like TNA is a game that my friends and family are drawn to, and Deadpool. Definitely the two of those for sure get played a lot. but it's always in the back of my head. If somebody's brand new to the hobby, what's the game I want to point them towards? And Mike, you brought up a really good one with Guardians, and then I saw here in chat Jordan had said Batman 66 is well liked. I know Stranger Things is very well liked by like novice players. They see that, they see a very clear objective. So
I mean, what if you could buy, like, I think a more controversial move right now that we're seeing is where Chicago Gaming, is offering that Lyman Sheets code at an additional price, right? Which I didn't realize that was the case. I thought Lyman was doing it for all of the versions, and when you bought Cactus Canyon, you got his code, but that's not the case, right? Like,
no.
it's an extra feature. So, it does bring up a good point. Let's say for Deadpool, let's say Stern announced for $100, we're gonna give you a full new code set for Deadpool, so you can enjoy this game in a whole different way.
Done.
Would you take it? Yeah, of course you
100%.
do it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't see that as a bad thing. Like if they did that for the Avengers and they gave you like all these different extra features for $50, $100, too, like. You know what I mean? I just think it adds life, and I think people are willing to pay a little bit more, almost like a mod, right?
I
You get a
mean,
little bit more
in a
down the road.
in a perfect world, it would just be free. I mean, I already spent thousands of dollars on the game. In a perfect world, it
Well,
would
I mean,
just be
look at
free.
P3, right? P3
Yeah.
essentially
Yep.
does that now with right there. They
Yep.
have, I guess it's like indie sort of software that they've coded
Yeah.
for the different modules they have for it. And I think those are like in the hundreds of dollars too, just for
Somewhere,
the
yeah.
DLC, right?
Few hundred.
So, I mean, I can see people, wanting to have something like that. Why not have an extra rule set for your Godzilla or your Mando or something that you can pay and download
Mhm.
and enjoy the game in a different way? I mean, why not?
Well, I know. I mean, Rush Code came out today, and they gave you the ability to skip right to the wizard mode. Now, if they would make that something you have to pay, or if they said, "Hey, if you're a premium Insider Connected user, then you have the ability to do these things. You have to log in, and then you have the ability to go to your modes. But if you don't log in, you can't." Like, I mean, they could theoretically they could do that. They could do
Yeah.
that, and I know it would make some people very unhappy. But then there's other people like, hey, you're adding features to the game. I don't care. Like, I don't know,
I
I'm
mean,
man.
if they
willing to
were to
pay,
do something
right?
like
Yeah.
that, I would think maybe add things that don't change the game if you're going to give things to premium people. Maybe it's I don't know, at Christmas time the game has Christmas themes or Christmas trees in the background or something,
Yeah,
something along those lines. But if it's
sure.
something like, oh well, if you're a premium member, you get this like the goats, mode from Jurassic Park that was only in the topper. I know it's in the game now, but something
Mhm.
along those lines, right? And there'd be a lot of people that would be, I think, upset about
Yeah.
having to just pay a premium price to get access to a feature in a game. But
You just said Jurassic Park, and that gives me a thought. And this is something, Travis, now that you work for the man, you're going to be able to see these numbers. But I know like Ghostbusters sold a ton because of the theme. I know Jurassic Park sold a ton because of the theme. I know Star Wars sold a ton because of the theme. Jurassic
Mhm.
Park and Star Wars are hard games, like in my opinion. Like the layout is not newbie friendly and at all.
no.
So that's kind of my question, because I assume there were a ton of those games that were sold to like first time buyers. Is there a chance that because the games are so difficult that it potentially kept those owners from getting more involved in pinball? Like, were the games so hard that they don't feel the need or want to buy another game because they're being beat up every time they play it? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, is there a chance that the theme is what sold them, but because the games are so hard, it kept them from wanting to get more into pinball?
Yeah, I would suspect that they would probably get rid of the game and look for something along the lines
Mhm.
of what they used to play when they were a kid. A used older game that they remember playing when they were younger. They might think these new games are too hard, too
Hmm.
fast, too flashy, so much going on. They want the experience they used to have. So, I could see somebody with that kind of mentality, especially if they own a game like Star Wars or Black Knight or
Yeah,
something hard,
the
right?
flipper gap. I mean, the
Mhm.
flipper gap alone on Ghostbusters. I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
wh-
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think,
well,
Travis?
one of the things to consider too when you're dealing with selling such big themes, right? There's a basically people would be shocked at how many people out there buy a pinball machine and barely ever play it. They would be absolutely shocked. And these are people that don't go to conventions, don't go to tournaments, don't do anything like that. They just have a game room. They live in a big fancy house,
Yeah.
and they know they need to put an arcade in there. And so there is, I mean, think about it. If there's only 1,000 LEs currently, or back then with Ghostbusters, what was there, 500? I mean, think about this. It's conceivable that at least 50 to 100 of those could have went to customers that were like that, to where they get these pins and they may not play it as much. They might get like one or two at a time. I know some people personally, and this is back before I started working with a pinball company, that there was one person in particular, I won't name the name, but he's a former professional athlete, and he bought, it was like 8 or 9 new Sterns, like new in the box, premiums LEs, right? Called me up because he was confused on what was going on with the pins. And so I asked him, like, well, are they working properly? And he just told me they're broke. Then come to find out, the ball was just getting stuck. And they had no idea that they could take the glass off. They had no idea they could do any of that. So they just assumed it was broke. And I promise you, there's so many people out there like that that buy these games because they have the money to do it. They love the theme, but they may not play it that much. So I mean, there's just more people out there like that than what we realize, because all of us here that are either on the stream or watching the stream in the chat, we're fully into pinball. We get it. You know, we're in the hobby. We live and breathe it. We play it as often as we can. We watch it. I mean, that's just where we're at with the hobby. But there is a large section of people out there that are very, very casual. And I think the thing with that is that casualness really is what's driving up a lot of these prices as well, because they can't find it, but they know that they want that theme, so they're just like, I'll get it. I mean, that's the way this works. And a lot of people just don't realize that. And even when you go to pinball shows, right? And you talk to some people that have been in the hobby for 20, 30 plus years, right? They really don't have a big collection of Sterns, right? Their collection is Gottlieb EMs. Theirs is the Bally Williams. I mean, that's the collection that they have. So there's just, I mean, that's the interesting part about pinball, is that you have so many different age brackets within this. And you have so many different people that prefer different games of different eras, because there's people out there that don't even like current themes. They just want all original themes. That's what they're all about. And their last new in-box game they bought was TNA from Spooky. There's a section of people out there
That's
like
like
that.
Dennis. Dennis is like that too.
Yeah. So I mean,
he doesn't buy it on theme at all. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's how it is sometimes. But yeah,
I know that's not true.
But they don't shower. That's what Pinball said. Yeah, I think it's the last thought that I have is, and this is a metric that a distributor probably sees, but obviously they see the themes that sell. So there's no doubt that there were more Mandos that were sold than Black Knights. I mean, there's more people there's huge Mando fans. They want Mando. But I'm curious what games, because most every distributor they'll allow you to they'll trade in your game. So I'm curious whether or not they see a correlation to we sold a ton of Ghostbusters, but then we had a lot of people trade in Ghostbusters, or no, it's not that at all. I wonder what kind of games are actually the ones that get traded in the most. And are they games like Black Knight? Or I don't know. I'm curious if there's a correlation of, it's just direct correlation. Yeah, the games we sell the most of are also the games we get the most in on trade, or no, there's certain titles typically based on, I don't know, code or difficulty, that those are the games we get in on trade. I don't have the answer to that. It's just a thought that I'm voicing out loud.
I'm always amazed. I think you're right, Travis, because I'm always amazed when I see these ads come up on the Stern Pinball Enthusiasts or any of the pinball chats or for buy sell things where they're home use only, less than 300 plays. I'm like, how's that even possible? I'd play even the worst game possible. If I got it and I hated it, I'd still play the hell out of it until I sold it. And these aren't games that just came out. They got yesterday. They played 20 games on it and then sold. These are games they've had for over a year. I'm like, how is that possible? They only have less than 300 plays in this thing. And I think it's just like what Travis said, is that these are people who who would, for whatever reason, they don't have the time. They bought it on a whim, and realized that they're not maybe as into it as they thought they were. I bet there's a lot of people, shockingly, like Travis said, they got a lot of money and they buy things on a whim, right? So someone said, wouldn't it be cool to have a pinball machine? They're like, yeah, I got to get a pinball machine. They go out and buy one, and then there it sits, and they only play it when their friends come over.
It's an aesthetic for their
It's
cool
an
game
aesthetic.
room.
Exactly,
And
exactly. And I
you're-
think you're right. There's probably way more people than you think that are like that.
And they're probably not
I bought
selling
a
it
couple
all.
games from people like that. I've bought a couple of games from people like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. And
Yep.
because you're probably not seeing the for sale ad on Pinside either. Like they're
No,
they don't know what
on
Pinside
they're
is.
on our
so-
local Craigslist or
Craigslist,
whatever,
Or
it's
Kijiji
Kijiji
or
here
whatever.
in Canada.
Yep.
But I mean, you have your fair share of trolls on those sites
Yeah.
too, right? Or
Mhm.
tire kickers or
Well,
whatever.
there's a ton of them. But
Yeah.
one thing I know everybody loves is I just realized it's 11:30. We have a video we have to show that everybody loves. So check this out. We have some amazing sponsors. I'm going to show this video real quick. It's like 3 or 4 minutes. So if you need to go to the bathroom or grab a drink, feel free. Otherwise, stay and support the sponsors of the show. I know Pinmonk is here in chat. He has a little bit, or you can see right there, speaker light kit. You can see the speaker light kit right there. So real quick break. I give you permission to skip it. Pinmonk, we need to re-edit the video and put your video last so that I can. But I appreciate that. I appreciate
Victor's
that
the best.
You say
Victor's
that.
the best.
So let me throw this video on.
Give you
We'll
permission
be,
to
we'll be right back.
Your pinball machine deserves the best. At Comet Pinball, you'll find the best variety of LED products with the best quality LEDs, and most importantly, at the best price. Your collection is begging for an upgrade. Order yours now at cometpinball.com.
Scorbit is excited to announce Achievements, the latest in an amazing series of features available to thousands of connected pinball machines around the world. Achievements are part of Scorbit's free open platform. Scorbit already supports hundreds of pinball machines from the 1970s to today.
Give your games new life by connecting them to the Scorbit platform and the universe of applications for pinball machines.
Bam, we are back. We are back. So thank you,
Hello.
everybody that stuck through that. I appreciate that. Like I said, appreciate the sponsors. We can look at it. I know we just did it. We can, but that Pinmonk app made me feel much more fresh. Yes. So thank you. Thank you for everybody that was in there. We'll look real quick at that. Here are our 8 sponsors. We thank all of them for being a part and supporting the TPN streaming channel. We try to stream. Currently, we're streaming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, every Saturday. So anything LED related, hit up, comment. Mesomods make some awesome mods in their games. Scorebit, I know earlier they were talking about how do we get a CGC game on the internet. Boom, Scorebit is your answer.
Yep.
Stern, fantastic pinball machine. Speaker light kits, you can see them in the background on my games. Pinball photos, they're exactly that. They're pinball photos that look great in your game room. Flipping Out Pinball, reach out to Zach and Nicole. They will treat you right when it comes to buying a new or used game. And then Pinball Monk is actually in the chat with us right now. He makes some amazing, amazing products. So support Victor and what he does. Great guy. That's the flipper fans to keep your flippers nice and cool and consistent when you stream long playing games. The silent pinball fans for your power supplies so you don't hear the Stern games whizzing in the background.
Tons
awesome
of
stuff.
lots of really neat little cool mods that you don't see in other
checks
other
in the mail.
places,
But
you know?
yeah, Victor, you're the man. You've randomly sent me things before, which has been awesome, and I've been happy to showcase them in the games. So if you tomorrow night, I'll be streaming on the Flippin' Out channel. I'll be streaming Rush, and you'll see some of the insert mods that we've had. Which Victor, I hope you've sold a bunch of them. I know I helped kind of create those, so I hope you've sold a bunch of them. That hand sign means, this saying okay. Yeah. Oh, Victor, I have to ask. This guy photoshopped a picture of me on Pinside. I don't really want to bring attention to it, but maybe I should. The joke was that my tattoo says misunderstood, but you put some random kanji or whatever on the other side. I'm curious. I said that. Yes, I said that my tattoo said misunderstood. It doesn't say that. But what
Isn't there a teardrop too? Right
yeah,
here?
you added a teardrop to my face. But what does the kanji say? Knowing you, there's actual. It probably says like something ridiculous, but it did. Yeah. But anyway, so. I don't know what that says, but yes. So let's what do we have here? What else do we want to talk about? I know earlier on, let's talk a little bit about Deep Root. There are some Deep Root photos in here. The kanji says Baka Gaijin. What does that mean?
Probably means rising action, I bet.
Rising action? Oh,
Yeah.
Rising action? What is it? What's the thing? Is it Rising Action Hydra? Isn't
Yeah.
that the
Hydra, yeah,
God,
yeah.
it's the best. I gotta find that picture again. Baka Gaijin. Okay.
It was on there. It was on there with Nap's
all right,
stuff.
we'll pull it up here. So
That's a deep cut reference, but stay with us.
Rising
chat.
Action.
He'll make a lot of sense here in a few.
Baka is stupid. Okay, this is this is the what he threw on my shoulders here. Stupid foreigner. All right, thank you, Pinmonk, for that fantastic. All right, so this is for anybody that's looking at the stream. What are we looking at here? Deep Root Pinball. There's a whole.
We're looking at you, not F11 again.
You feel like a big man when you call
I
me
do. I'm
Big
helping
Papa. Yeah. Hello. There you go. So, what
There
do
we
we?
go.
Deep Root, they screwed over a whole bunch of people. They were a pinball manufacturer, and they are tanking mostly because of this guy right here in the middle. And here are some these were recently released. So we're oh my explanation got modded. What explanation? All right, so let's look in on some of this good stuff here. So let's here
Is there
it
a
is.
video with this?
This video is incredible. So they
What
talked
is this?
about
Is he putting?
this is a playfield mech that's like, I mean, in a perfect world, being able to access your games this easily would be pretty sick. But
Yeah,
this
that's
is the
pretty
best
cool.
part is it doesn't work because he can't get it
Can't
back
get
in.
it to work.
Joel saying that
Guys, do
there-
the field goal sign.
Yeah.
Oh. This is gold.
No, the gold part is this at the end where he goes, stop,
Oh,
stop.
oh.
Like we gotta refilm. We gotta let's take this video. But the real question is,
Yeah, and you have to play the sound there, Joel, because they're trying to give him instructions at the same time too. They're going like, lift it higher,
I don't
push
know
it in.
if I have
No
my
way.
He can't get it.
Can you hear
He's
this
getting more
sound?
frustrated as he goes.
Can you hear that?
Not. I just see the guy celebrating in the background.
Yeah, I can hear the sound, but I haven't set up. Yeah, we hear it. Okay, Trumpachi hears it. Cool.
At that point, I'm thinking, boy, this thing's cool. Like as soon as you whip that out, I was like,
So-
hey, that's not bad.
So he lifts it all the way that it hits the glass, and it's still. And then this is the bet. Yeah, stop it.
Like
stop,
there's no mechs
stop.
there. If if there's ramps, there's mechs on there. There's no way that playfield's coming out and going back in
Yeah.
again. There's like
I
this
lo-
much.
I love the
Yeah,
guy
all
in the
the wires
background.
and stuff. Yeah.
Just watch the guy in the background raising his hands in there. He celebrates like 3 or 4 different occasions
you think he's
throughout
celebrating,
this 30-second video.
but I think he's
Look.
telling him to lift it higher.
No, here it goes. Nope,
Oh.
there's one celebration.
Yeah. He's
going with the thumbs up.
Well, somebody did point out normally there's wires connecting this, so the fact that it can spin all the way around is not
Oh,
that
there's a second
Impossible.
celebration.
Mike
Yeah.
just said that. Damn it,
Oh,
you just
yeah,
broke the
yeah.
bubble, Mike.
It's
Yeah, only his face
Stop.
is blurred. I wonder why.
stop. He's probably the guy that gave the video out. I don't know, but it's one of those the concept, the idea of getting the full playfield out in a like I like the thought, but that you don't want to be fighting it, right? You don't want to be fighting and the weight, there's no weight on this game. So how would this,
You could just spin it.
how
Like,
would
I
this-
could just see people like
you don't
spinning it as
you don't
fast
want
as
to
they
pull
can.
that whole thing out and then your whole pinball machine start I mean,
Well, I mean, like, how much
Yeah.
pressure could you put on that once it's sitting like that?
Look at the
Like,
leverage you
if
could get
I'm
on that,
waxing the
yeah.
playfield when it's sitting out like that, I'm worried that I'm just going to break the arms or the playfield's
Tip
going to
it.
snap out or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't look like it's. I mean, what is the practical use for that? Honestly, in that position that you can do with a flimsy little, I don't know what it is, the half-inch rod holding it on there. I don't know, but it doesn't look like you can do anything practical with it.
I mean,
You could
yeah.
spin it, Mike. Just keep
Well, you
spinning
can
it.
spin. It's a
Spin that sucker.
rotisserie, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's so great. It's such a defeated look, but all right.
Well, and that maybe sums up Deeproot in a nutshell. You know, they had some interesting ideas that, practically speaking, couldn't be implemented easily, I would say.
Yeah.
And that's being generous. You know, I think that's being generous.
yeah.
It was probably Deeproot doing the live action DJ mixer. Probably
Yeah.
what it was. Instead of
This
Stern
cracked
doing
me
it.
up. This cracked me up too because they show the orbit and then like a lot of action there and then drain. And he does that 3 times. It's basically the same thing. So orbit, okay, down through the pops, excellent. Okay, we're doing this. Up the middle, back up. Up the middle, back up, down.
I don't.
Is there 3 captive balls in a
There's
row
3.
there?
So
And
this
there's a
captive ball
U-turn?
is just hitting a switch, the middle one. But this one, it's
Yeah.
like the balls are supposed to go back and forth. This looks like it's a magnet here in the middle.
Back down, back down.
I don't know. I don't know what.
And
I don't know. I mean, back here, there's 3 stand-up targets,
Sling,
but
sling,
nothing's going to
sling.
hit those directly from a flipper.
Yeah.
It would just be a pop bumper magically hitting that. And then we have this strange.
and drain.
We have a very strange. So back here, there is a vuck. No idea how you're supposed to get to it, but there's a vuck here that then it almost looks like there's going to be 3 magnets here that hold the ball. I don't know. This
reminds me of like the Stranger Things shot, up the middle where you hit that sucker, it's coming right back at you.
Oh, the flux capacitor. That's what we're calling. Yeah, it's 3
All-
right up the
all
middle.
those those.
Well,
those
it's like
top
3. It's like the fishtails captive ball there, right in the middle, but 3 of them. And
Yeah.
every time you hit any one of them, you're draining down the
It's
middle.
coming right out. Oh, Berto, I still can't refund my Raza deposit, dude. Sorry, man.
Oh, that's
Sorry,
hard.
you were.
Yeah.
If I don't, if this is painful for you, I'm sorry. Sorry that you were roped in, man. But yeah. Oh, great. They have LEDs. I don't know. That's nothing. This is an
Wow.
interesting. This is another interesting layout. We'll see what we have here. Is this This is the Raza layout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a little thing in the back. I don't know. The game was pretty. Berto's okay. He can drink. Berto drink one. Yeah. And then this is showing, I mean, they had bought some like PCB manufacturing equipment. Like this is where it like makes the breadboard and then actually places all the individual capacitors and resistors and all this. I mean, this is like Stern doesn't own these.
Yeah, this is some serious stuff here.
Stern doesn't own these machines. They are paying somebody else to make their stuff. So why? It's just one of those like, why in the world they felt the need to buy that machine? I don't know. The CNC machine, this CNC machine is designed in a way where they could be, manufacturing multiple things all at once. Like the heads could be moving simultaneously. We heard on the podcast that apparently this was an older machine and it wasn't in spec. You own these machines.
An eighth of an inch, which is like ginormous for a CNC
ginormous.
machine. Like that's like horrendous.
Ask anybody who plays with the lightning flippers how much an eighth of an inch means.
Yeah.
You own these machines when you want to pump out millions of boards. Exactly. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. Here they're like, they talked about how they were making their own mechs. So it's like, I mean, good for them that they're testing their mechs, but at the same time, like, how about you just start with maybe the first 3 of your games being games that you buy parts from other people? Like, let's get your, let's start somewhere. And if you want to slowly start replacing the, bought mechs with your own mechs, fine, but nah. Black Hole 2 prototype. One of the things that I think they were showing here is that's Barry Ausler on the spinner, which I think is pretty funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's hilarious.
There's a lot of love for him at that company. But this was, so Black Hole, if you don't know, Black Hole's a pinball machine that has an upper play field and a lower play field. And so I think that's what this is going to be like, the Black Hole 2.0. You can see this lower play field here is a circle, which is kind of unique. And it looks like the flippers were down there pointing upwards. So curious.
Does it come out and rotate as well?
I don't know. Maybe it did rotate. That would be kind of crazy if it did rotate.
I feel like that was the one he pulled out on that mechanism. Like you could see
it did look like there was some sort of a circular thing in the middle there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting.
Bunch of angles. The only problem with the lower playfield though is it means on your main playfield you can't do anything in that area.
Yeah.
So that means this entire, I mean, that's almost half a machine. You can't do anything. I mean, it would have to be blank.
Nothing,
no, it would be completely blank. Fire and Brimstone photo pictures. So this was another game that they talked about that they were making. Kroll did it right. Oh, where you put a whole thing. Yeah, where it's like magnified. I know what you mean. Has to rotate or balls would get stuck in the loop. Good point. Yeah. Yeah. It's got to do something cool. Let me zoom out here. What do we have going on with this upper ramp? We got a weird horseshoe ramp, very small. But I don't really understand this upper thing. I don't know what that is. I don't know how.
Looks like it goes from underneath the horseshoe ramp, like a ramp that comes around.
Oh yeah, it's right there. Yeah.
So
you have the horseshoe, but then you hit this shot, and then it goes up, like it just curves to the right and just drops a ball up here. Or they may have some weird lock or an upper playfield,
some sort of mechanism or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you look over here on the left, that would be foam core. And if it's made of foam core, it was a Dennis Nordman design, right? I mean, that's everything that's what he's known for, is everything he did. Oh, it went up and then I don't know. That's a weird one. That's a Thunderbird inspired ramp right there.
Was that not Whitewater 2?
Yukon Yeti
on the left.
Yep, Yukon Yeti is what they're calling yeah. What do we have here? Some more mock-ups. I think the key here is they showed that J-Pop had a pinball toolbox. Good on him. Food truck. Food truck. There's some real interesting stuff here. So this was supposed to be the second game that was coming out. So they were supposed to do Raza first, and then food truck was going to be second. So this was the game that was furthest along. And on the podcast, this is the Pinball Show, Blueberry Johnson basically said that if Raza wasn't what was going to bankrupt Deep Root, it would have been Food Truck. Apparently, Food Truck was a mess. This was a Barry Alsler design, but you can see here's a whole secondary playfield, which it looks like these are just slings. So I don't know if
like
these
the
would
wrestling
be,
ring in
yeah,
WWE.
slings that are controllable or what, but that's just, this ball's just bounce around. But I don't see any way for the ball to drain. So it seems like the ball just stays.
Right at the top.
Controlled slings neat. But is these red dots, are these actual magnets? Is it something you're controlling like
that could be
Twilight Zone? Yeah.
Maybe it just stays up there. I don't know.
So
that's the little flip here.
It's either cool or it's just hokey. Back here, it looks like there's a fully made metal fry basket. So
yeah, I see it there.
Curious if that's just decor or if that's actually like a ball locking mech. Here, it looks like you had dispensers. I don't know if these are soda dispensers or...
I think it was actually going to like make French fries in front of you. You know,
so
and dispense them.
we throw one drop target in the middle to get in the way of this monster ramp.
You could probably hit the ramp without hitting that drop target with the size of it.
But then you have 3 random stand-ups back there. I mean, that hides a lot of playfield for just...
Of course, Joel. My battery pack.
Travis's battery died.
Oh no!
God, Travis sucks with technology. Boo that
Every
man.
time.
Boo that man.
God. Put Tom's face in front of me.
Put Tom's face in front of you. You are. I think I could make that happen. Real quick. Yeah. Let's go ahead and. God, you're the worst. Image. And add existing. There we go. This is an insult to Tom, is really what it is. There. Is he back?
Oh, he's back.
No, it's gonna go out again.
I'm leaving Tom. Okay. I'm leaving Tom's face.
It's on his last legs.
I'm leaving Tom's face right there. It's so great. I even reminded you to charge your batteries.
It was fully charged. I just happen to have only one battery to that.
Hey, Craig and Mike, thanks for being professional. You know,
anytime.
Anytime. Yeah, plug that laptop in. T Mick knows. Yeah. I don't know. This is weird to me. I mean, this is a monster ramp for Stream is so cheerful now with Tom. Yeah, it's really great.
Are those flaps that the ball can go under, or are they like stand-ups or drop targets? Like, what is it?
I mean, I think it's supposed to look either like a ketchup mustard dispenser or it's almost like a soda machine dispenser.
Soda machine. That's what I thought. Too.
But like you see the little gray sort of things hanging down. I'm wondering if it's like
they'd kind of act like the Razor Crest on Mandalorian.
Yeah,
like a triple Razor.
Yeah.
That's the way it looks.
Pinmonk has mentioned, FYI, Carl's on a 4 billion tear on Godzilla right now. So for everybody that's watching the stream right now, you guys actually want to see like impressive pinball gameplay, I'm not offended if you leave this stream and go watch IE Pinball. I totally understand. But if you want to be here for just ridiculous pinball talk, go for it. Oh, 40 billion points. So I understand.
What?
If you want to see skill and gameplay, this is not the stream for you. Or watch both. Yeah, just listen to us ramble and watch Carl blow it up. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this middle mech. But we have a ramp over here. What do we have? Oh, we want to hear Tom's voice. Do you guys hear this? I don't hear
I like how
it.
they didn't even paint the whitewood white, like it's like partially painted.
That's where from play.
Well, apparently they're wearing out this upper right.
Yeah.
Okay, so right orbit, right ramp, which goes around to the left. Okay. Inner loop. There's pops hidden under there. There's we have from this upper flipper, it looks like one shot.
Like a Rick and Morty kind of position.
Left ramp. I mean, that's really the only thing you're going to hit with this upper flipper is that one shot.
Or the stand up.
Yeah.
Well, you can probably hit the drop target out of the way. Maybe that's why that middle ramp is fat like that, because you can hit it with the side flipper. We'll never know. We'll never know.
Unfortunately, we'll never know.
Somebody needs to pick up this food truck and make it a thing.
So that was a whole nother thing that was mentioned on on the podcast, which apparently the people that were coding these games, the game code wasn't actually stored on the machines. It was like stored on a server. So anybody that bought any of these prototype games, for one, I think they removed the computer, but like you have no code. Like the code is not there. There's nobody walked away with deep root code, which is really unfortunate. But I don't know. It is what it is. It's an interesting thing that a roach is what you're using to.
Yeah,
You must be battling the bugs. I see the roaches back.
That's
over
a
here.
$1,000 topper you're looking at right there.
At least. Was waiting to see if they had a predator in their shop next to food truck. Oh wow, yeah. I don't know. Ball 1. Pinmonk is saying he's on 40 billion points on ball 1. I think Carl's learned how to break Godzilla. So that's
break
insane.
the Zilla.
See, this
All
looks
right.
like an interesting layout. This
This
looks like a TNA kind of vibe.
Well, apparently this layout, it's called what's it called? It's labeled
Not Gladiator, but
it's something like this. But this is people are saying this is Space Cadet. Do you know what I mean by Space Cadet?
Oh, yes, the Microsoft Word game, or wasn't it not what Word? The Microsoft Windows
Cadet Pinball
game.
So if we look at Space Cadet,
that's so funny.
Yeah. So look here. It is. You have this playfield
wow.
over here.
Oh,
You have the pop
Look
bumper
at
up
that.
there.
I never played it.
Space Cadet 6 pops. 1, 2, 3 little pops. But take
7.
take a picture of that mentally. Boom.
Wow.
Space Cadet.
That is exactly what it is.
So they talked about, they're like, hey, we have a ton of people that love Space Cadet. Let's actually make Space Cadet. But I think at least what I heard was they had issues. They couldn't get the license. So if you can't get
what does that sticky note say there?
Need to complete wiring? No duh.
Yeah.
Need to complete wiring. So let's look at this layout. I mean, it's the Space Cadet
need to
layout.
pay employees.
So is this left? I think this is like a flap to go somewhere into a subway, I think. But this is an interesting thing up here.
Perhaps?
Yeah, there's a VUC. There's something, I don't know how. Maybe that's how it goes there, and then the VUC shoots it up
Comes
here
up,
behind the
yep,
pop.
Yep.
I don't know. It's been a while since I played Space Cadet.
What's the point of that VUC though? It's just going to drop it into the pop
Drop it
area
behind
and have
the
it
pop?
bounce it around, and
There must be something up there. Microsoft would have the rights to Space Cadet. Yeah,
it's a
good
lot of
luck
real
getting that
estate
from-
for one pop bumper to.
I mean, I think it was clear they weren't. The whole point of this was to really try to pull on the heartstrings of the people that were into Space Cadet. So, and then they realized, crap, we can't do that. So let's coming soon. That's what it's. It was a Gladiator pin. That scoop is real close.
I can't remember what
It's
Oh,
vucked
that's about where
up.
Godzilla's is, isn't it?
It's vucked up. Well done, Victor. I mean, yeah, they just did their best to recreate Space Cadet. They weren't.
So was this the pin that they were describing everything on that whiteboard?
Oh,
and
you
it had
mean
rising
this bad
action
boy
for it?
right
Yeah.
here? This is what it's all about. The number one best thing that's part of this, and Dennis Creasel really pointed this out. I should have 100% made this into a t-shirt right here. If you guys want to know how to design a pinball game, the key is rising action. Rising action, and you know you've achieved the goals when you get to Hydra. Boom. Rising action, Hydra. And then the best part of it's just
I love how they established that the Hydra is part of the game.
Yeah,
They
right here.
underline it. Hydra.
If we're going to make a Hydra, we got to lead up to it. You don't just start with Hydra. You don't start with Hydra. You got a rising action. You got to get to Hydra. Rising action, get to Hydra. Is there going to be a Hydra in the game? I don't know. Nope. 3 points later, Hydra is part of the game. And then this is really clear. Really, really important here. First round easy. Second round hard. You can't start hard. You got to start easy. First round easy, second round hard. Very, very important. And then Ray Day, I know, was in chat when we were talking about this earlier, that if these are your mythical creatures, Manitar, Hydra, Minotaur, you're fighting those. But Pegasus, how do you fight a Pegasus?
Yeah. I like how it says limited mythical creatures. Limited. Not unlimited, limited.
The joke earlier was, how do you fight a Pegasus? Round 1, apple. Round two's got to be hard though. So 2 apples, 2 apples in round 2. Yeah, we had way too much fun with this.
I'm
this
curious.
whiteboard.
So the entire game is called Gladiator, yet it looks like they have 4 separate levels to where Gladiator is the second
Slave,
level above slave, and then below general.
gladiator,
So it's not even
Or-
like-
general, emperor, because
Emperor.
that's definitely how it works. That's definitely how. I mean, I'm not keen on my Roman or mythical lore, but I don't think you go from slave to gladiator to general to emperor. But
I'm just trying to figure out in my head what are these notes exactly for, because they're not even basic scatter focus notes when you're trying to just gather up general ideas. This actually seems like they had already thought this out to an extent and wanted to show somebody else, but just felt like I don't want to do a PowerPoint presentation, so I'm just going to throw this up here.
It's gonna whiteboard it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
and then they got to the top of that second column right there, and then they realized, wait, my audience doesn't realize that we need rising action right now, and I'm going to establish that.
Rising action. So we have to. It's important. We have to tell the player to shoot the training ramp 3 times. This is a mission. Notification, not animation. Notification. So I don't know, man.
I'd love to know who's giving the presentation.
The only person that I know.
This thing.
I don't know if Zach ever has an opportunity to interview like Dennis Nordman or Steve Bowden or Travis. If next time you talk to Steve, if you can pull up this screenshot and be like, "Were you in this meeting? Please tell me you were in this meeting, and please tell me how it went."
The rising action meeting.
This it's amazing how much this one picture just kind of describes Deep Root.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out a situation in which somebody would actually stand there in front of that board and write that out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I kind of think that they were just explaining it to somebody that maybe has never played pinball before, and maybe they were just a potential investor.
This is the code.
This is
the code right here. Yep.
You know,
he was explaining the rules of the game. Yeah.
What does it say? Plan around XD, even though we're shooting live action. What does that mean? XD.
I don't know. I mean, he talked about that they wanted to make sure that their animations were like, why do basic 3D animations? Like, let's do live action. Like, he wanted to like film things and do, or he wanted to do like true motion capture. I don't know. It's just whatever. So
Is that a high definition?
why are we getting so in depth on games so far from production? Great. Because you got to think ahead, Mike. You know, we got to have a direction. The direction here is you got to rising action. We got to get to that Hydra, man.
Well, they were supposed to release more games. Weren't they supposed to release more games than any manufacturer in 1 year?
They had 13
That's what
apparently
it
he
was.
was working on.
Well,
I don't know.
Like,
It's so great.
And here's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, out of any of these that needed live action, maybe Food Truck, but how would Gladiator have live action when you have limited mythical creatures that you're fighting too?
That
I mean,
Pegasus,
last I checked, you're not going to find a Pegasus on Craigslist to
man.
like come out and just film some scenes for you. Like,
you don't want to see you don't want to see Bobby Pinball doing doing the motion capture for a Minotaur or
live
something?
action Pegasus.
God.
Let her rip.
God, the Rising Action Hydra is just the best. I just can't get over
that would be the
So
best
good.
pinball shirt ever. If somebody made a Rising Action pinball shirt, I'd be all over that.
I could make that art in like 10 minutes. I should just do it.
Nobody owns
do it.
that
I'll do it
either. Like,
tomorrow.
go for it.
I know.
There
I'll
you
do
go.
it tomorrow. Now we got to see if Silverball Swag will sell it. Rising
that's
Action.
a triple drain thing.
I
right
don't
there.
know.
Just get that that orange thing, the
I know,
rising
Rising
action,
Action
and then,
Hydra.
And then
That's all we need.
and then pinball is
No.
easy underneath it.
We
That's it.
talked about this. The front of the shirt, Rising Action Hydra. Back of the shirt, first round's easy, second round's hard. That's all. There's your T-shirt. It'll sell itself. The challenge is who's going to sell it. I don't think Silverball Swag will sell it because I know Jeff and Will. Jeff got burned real bad by Deep Root. So maybe Zach will sell it on the Flippin' Out site. We'll see. But I'll do it. I'll make it. I'll make that art. Yep. All right. So it looks like this is machine age prototype. That's what this was in this middle.
Okay.
With this weird middle mech and another Ferris wheel. No, nobody ever needs a We don't need Ferris wheels in pinball.
No, but you can have a game with 2
Ferris
wheels.
Yeah. Okay. Magic Girl. We've seen it. Beautiful art. Zombie Yeti knows.
So
what
were
he's
they
doing.
were they going to redo Magic Girl? Is that what they were attempting to do there?
Yeah.
And re-release it?
They talked
I
about
think
it.
that this was actually supposed to weren't they talking about making it right with the people who bought the original?
Yeah, they were going to
Somehow
finish it.
they could take a cash settlement or.
I mean, really, that should have been their first project right there. That sucker was done except for the code. Like, they should have just did it, you know?
So
if you want some low-hanging fruit.
this is something, Yukon Yeti, this is something that, Mike, I know you own a whitewater.
Yeah.
This is, so that upper playfield is kind of mirrored from
It's
what,
basically the exact same thing.
but it's
Just want to
mirrored,
know
right?
what those steps are.
This is what doesn't make sense. These are like,
What?
these are
Is it
actual
an escalator
steps.
going
It's
up?
an escalator.
And
Yep.
it's
Each
a
one's a
ramp.
ball lock, and it's
Oh,
like a
geez.
fancy ski resort.
I
That's
mean,
what it is.
this is clearly a ramp opening, but I don't know if he planned on building a ramp and this was just visual behind it, or if this was only the ball comes down it. Bop, 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 bop. I don't know. But it's the same. For it to be Yukon Yeti, I don't know. I don't know what's
There's the whitewater like swirls and humps in the
On the
side
left
there.
side.
Waterfall
yeah.
ramp. It's on
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
side as the one now. At least that feed. The ramp itself is on a different side though.
I mean, if the idea was
flipper.
this is just visually in the background and then there's a clear ramp above it.
Yeah, like a
That-
ball
That might
escalator.
be the
I
ramp.
think
It
that- I
looks like
think
it
that's
might
what Dakota was
U-turn.
saying.
Yeah, might
Yeah.
U-turn around and feed that upper flipper. Because how are you going to feed that upper flipper otherwise? Looks like it might go up that staircase and then curl around or something.
And the upper flipper shot can go to Insanity Falls. Yeah. And it would be, unless this thing would like come down and then you could feed it and then it would like like come back down. I don't know. That's a Dennis Nordman question.
Are they actually? Did I not hear that? Is it American Pinball or something? Are actually going to end up doing this still?
No, Barry
it?
Ausler. So, well, no, I don't know. Apparently, the rumor right now is the next American Pinball game will be a Dennis Nordman design, but
Right.
whether or not it's any of the designs that he had like started or worked on, I don't know that. What do we have? We'll see. Well, that was that. The Who prototype. I think we've looked at some of these pictures before. Let me see if there's one that zooms. Nope. There isn't one that's really zoomed in any better. I don't know who designed this one, but there is a Who van here in the middle. A lot of inserts. This looks like it's like a ramp that would come up.
Mm-hmm.
And jump into the
Yeah,
vehicle.
they really focused on that van. Give a lot of attention.
What
to
is
this
that
van.
big thing underneath that clear plastic?
I
to
don't
the right
know.
of it?
I don't know what that was supposed to represent. It's probably a Ferris wheel. Why not?
When all else fails, throw a Ferris wheel in it.
I don't know. So many games partly built. I mean, they hired some amazing designers, and they basically said design
Yeah.
games. The problem is, I mean, I when I interviewed Keith said like, you think that if you're given 15 months to make a game, there, you're not designing the playfield for 15 months. Like that's not how that works. It's like you have to have a general layout. Then you really have to hone in on mechs. You really have to make sure the mechs work. I mean, it's realistically like designing a layout may only be a few months worth of work. These designers were hired by Deeproot for years. And no wonder Dennis Nordman was so frustrated, because it's like he can only take his playfield so far before he needs a mechanical engineer to actually work on the mechs in the playfield. Like they can only take it so far before you have to start working on the mechs in the game, the code
Actually
in the
making
game.
it work. Yeah.
And so that's why it doesn't surprise me they had all these playfields that were 30% of the way there, because then they were stuck. They were stuck and they couldn't go any further. We've all seen Raza. Lots of printed Raza playfields.
I also think too, it shows that I got a feeling, and I have no clue what went on there, but it's almost like he hired all these designers and just set them loose and said, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. And we know in seeing companies like Stern how it takes a huge team of people. Like it starts with Keith, and then it just fans out in terms of programmers, engineers, sound people. Like the list of employees below Keith is ginormous. Artists, the list goes on and
Yeah.
on and on. Electrical people, and so I just got the feeling that it was just they didn't have the personnel. I mean, I'm sure Robert thought he did in theory. Like he's got J-Pop, he's got Dennis Nordman. These guys know how to make pinball machines, right? Well, not really. If you look at all the stuff they got there, because it's so much more than just them. Is the point?
Dakota Mike put it perfectly. Top heavy. I mean, he focused entirely on let me get those people, but he didn't. There was nothing built to there to support everybody else. And like I mentioned earlier, Zach on the Pinball Show, him and Blueberry Johnson, they did a podcast just that came out on Monday that really went into some deep dive, and I would highly encourage you to listen to it, because just talking about it, this place was a mess. I mean, they just got way ahead of themselves. They got way ahead of what they could actually do. So hey, Nap Arcade, there's some awesome photos on here, but I thought it was worth looking through these real quick. But yeah, I just noticed it is after midnight. Is there anything else, chat, I see we got, 35 people watching. Is there anything that the four of us, anything you would like us to talk about or look at together real quick before we call it a night? Or between the four of you guys, is there anything we're missing? Travis, it looks like your camera's back on. Should I turn off Tom's?
Yeah, I got it working now.
You want me to turn off Tom's picture? Do I trust it?
I mean, I'm here.
Okay, I'll trust it. We'll see.
Okay.
All right.
Joel, I'm
Is
not
that a
gonna
burnt
lie.
board behind a picture frame? I'm sorry. I just needed to
Yeah.
Oh.
And that was the other part of the story, that they
Yeah.
were making these like LED lights and different stuff that they were trying to make in house, right, Joel? And then when they got moisture in the packs, or they bought LEDs, and then when they went to go weld them on or something, you need a very dry environment or something like that, and they didn't realize that, so all their LED boards were completely fried.
They did everything
the
wrong.
Moisture in San Antonio.
They did everything
or wherever
wrong.
the hell they were.
Yeah. The answer is it
was a disaster.
Yeah, they were doing everything wrong. Period.
Yeah.
What do we have here?
They were doing everything wrong.
Okay, I think
Everything
we're good now.
wrong, and that's
They said anything Tom has to say. I think I have this right. Tom, do you have anything to talk about?
Yes.
There we go. You guys hear that? I don't think
No, but I'm sure
the
it's
three of you guys
hilarious.
can, but I think the chat can. All right, Tom, what do you got?
I have nothing more to say.
You got nothing more to say. Okay, that's fine. Any more plans?
I'm going to bed. Good night.
He's going to bed. All right. Good night, Tom. Thanks for being here, man. That soundboard will never. Well, it's so good. It's never good.
It's the
Good to
gift
hear,
that keeps
Tom.
on giving,
Trepachi,
Joel.
I'm glad you. Good. Trepachi, you've been here. You were the first one on here. You're still here. Thanks for sticking with us tonight. Good night. Good night, Tom. Good night, Tom. I love it. I love it in chat. No, anything else? Anything? Any other questions, comments the chat has, or the three of you fools? Night from this. Yeah. Team X says good night. I love it. Need to add a few more lines to the soundboard. I mean, we've got some good ones on there, but yeah, Tom, there's some stuff on there I should probably add at this point. I like it when he gets all fired up. That's what I need to.
Salty Tom is
Salty
pretty
Tom's
funny.
pretty good.
Yep.
Salty Tom's pretty good. All right. Well, the three of you, any final comments, questions? I don't know.
No, we didn't even cover off the $2,500 US monster topper that Elite released for the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah. Let me pull up a picture of that. I don't even know. Is it EliteToppers.com? I mean, Travis is the topper guy now.
Yeah, of course.
Elite Pinball topper. Mike, do you own any toppers?
Only the one on Fishtails and Whitewater, the ones that come with them.
So is it because you have too many games? Is that why you haven't bit the bullet on any more?
No, you know what? Toppers don't really do it for me. I would prefer to be creative and create my own. I have some things that I've purchased to kind of get into maybe trying to make my own toppers. I just haven't gotten around to actually doing it. I got a 3D printer, so I'm going to start using that to kind of, play around with and whatnot. But
to make your own rush protectors there, Mike.
Yeah. At the price that those things costed. Whew.
Yeah. Jeez, you could pay for it,
So that was
Sell
one
it for
thing
you, you
somebody
pay for the
said
whole
there.
thing.
Can we talk about Dakota Maya? Have you talked about the latest rush protector? No, but I know Mike. You have who is it? It's Ninja Pinball or somebody.
It's Ninja Camp. Yeah, Ninja Camp Mods. I think the name is Anaraf on Pinside. But if you just look up Ninja Camp Mods, you'll see the page there or the thread. But I purchased the. Do you want to go into the?
Oh, you're good. Keep going.
Okay, so I purchased the protector from them. It was a little pricey for what you get, but it has worked perfectly. I've had no issues whatsoever with it. So, I mean, I'm able to play the game and not worry about the scoop getting damaged or anything like that, or the ball getting stuck. So,
yeah, that's my biggest complaint. So here you go. This is the limited edition topper, $2,500. I mean, it is pretty cool with the display in the back.
That's pretty damn sweet.
I mean, for $2,500, I wish it was pretty cool, but I mean,
almost have a live crack in there.
It is it is slick. Anytime you have a moving part though that's constantly moving, I hope it's silent because if that's on,
this is what
track
Deep
mode,
Root was
that would
going
be-
for.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
Rising Action Kraken. They
Hydra.
stole it.
But yes, yeah.
if it's not silent, I'm sure Pinball Monk can make something to
Yeah.
fix it and make it silent.
Yeah.
So don't worry, he's got you covered.
Yeah,
Pinmonk will make that work. But what was what was it called? Ninja what?
Ninja Camp
Mods.
Mods.
Camp
Yeah.
with a C?
CAMP. Yeah, it's all one word if you search it on Pinside.
Yeah, we'll see if the Google can get us where we need to go here. There we go. It's pretty amazing what that'll do.
Oh, and they are doing everything now. They're making switch protectors.
So basically, any
Vuck
Cliffy they're going to make now.
protectors, anything. Yeah.
So if we look here,
Yeah.
this is actually a 3D printed, and maybe Pinmonk can chime in here because he uses a
It's TPU. It's
yeah,
TPU, right?
It's
Yeah,
a
that's
different type of this is a flexible filament, but yet it's super durable.
Oh,
and
yeah.
what I like about it is the official Stern mod. It comes straight at you would now have walls on both sides
Got
of this front
bumpers,
scoop.
yeah.
And the bumpers, what scare me are those are now closer to the flippers. So you miss the mod, that thing's coming back at you harder than if you miss on one without the and I'm talking about the official Stern replacement scoop. So I'm pretty intrigued by this, but Pinmonk told him about it. Well done, Victor. Yeah. So I like this personally. I'm a big fan. He was going about it wrong on the whole for Rick and Morty, trying to make it stronger. Oh, okay. Yeah, but this is totally flexible. So when you felt it though, it felt kind of cheap, but yet it's holding up, I assume.
It's very thin. It's thinner than the metal protectors. It's like when you look at it on the play field, it almost looks like a decal, that you would find on a stand-up target. It's about that thickness.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. There's no stickiness. There's
There
no
it is.
tape. There's no anything. It's easy to install. Much easier than. Well, yeah. There you go. It's much easier to install than what it looks like for the Stern one. Now I'm getting the Stern one, and I'm not sure I'm going to install it right away. I might keep the game as it is, but I'll definitely hold on to the Stern one just in case, because I mean nobody's really played long enough with these protectors to see how long they will actually last, but they seem to be doing a pretty good job so far.
Because it's totally, you can see it's very flimsy, it's very flexible, but being that it is so flexible, that's probably going to actually give it some more longevity. So supposedly one is torn. I know the weak spot was right in between.
Yeah. I put a washer on all the holes before I put everything down on it, so hopefully that'll keep it through.
I like the concept. I like the concept a lot because I have been playing my Rush without any protector on it, and the ball ejects perfectly once you get that. I mean, you're seeing that, Mike, where it's the eject.
Yeah.
It's consistent. So I like this, and I know. I mean, Stern kind of went the opposite. They raw dogging it. Yeah, Victor knows. Yeah, but it's this has been they went beefy. They went like the actual official Stern mod is no joke. It is beefy. Stern Pinball.
They gave it horse blinders.
Yeah, and that I don't
true.
love that, but I mean it is what it is. If you're gonna put it on location, I mean you kind of have to. Did they hide the video?
Oh yeah, that video is unlisted.
Oh, really?
Yep.
How do I find it? I found it before.
You probably got to go on Facebook or just have the link to it. That's where I've seen it at.
Yeah,
Bummer.
it was in the Rush owners group on Pinside as well.
This makes the scoop even harder to hit because I mean now you can roll into it from the side, right? But when you have that big cover over it, you really can only get it directly through
this. Yeah.
So $50. $50. I mean, it's not cheap. Well,
plus $23 to ship to Canada. I mean, that thing cost me almost $100 after exchange and everything.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But hey,
I mean, I can play the game confidently now without worrying about any damage happening to the scoop. So
nice.
I guess it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, good. Yeah, you'll have to keep us. There we go. Here we got it. Thank you, Pinmonk. Let me click that. Did that not work? I'm trying to click it and it's not. There we go. And B. Bam. There we go. Well done. Here. So if anybody hasn't seen it, we'll skip right to the end. But yeah, look at that scoop. Look at that thing.
It is a bit of a nightmare to get under there to get that thing out. Too.
It wasn't
Double
easy.
plastics on top of each other and all the posts.
So the back one is just a thicker metal, but this front one, they did the thicker. I'm almost curious if it's worth just putting on the new thicker metal guards.
That's what I thought too.
And just leaving off these bumpers. And then if that starts to curl up or something, then fine. Put the bumpers on to hold it down. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I also visually I
don't like it.
It also changes the way I feel that it changes the way the game was intended to be played by the designer. It really does. I mean, having those things there, it's not.
So Dakota Mike said, were there switch problems? I did not know that. Apparently this is an LE, but it seems like, yes, there's a switch in the trough because on the LE and the premium, it can hold a second ball down there and keep it there. But if that switch, I don't think you could adjust it on the original one. So if it was off and it wouldn't detect that ball, it was a problem. So now they have a new switch for the premium LE buyers that is adjustable. So I don't think there's a switch. I don't know. I mean, Mike, have you had any switch issues with your trough? I haven't.
Nope. There is an individual switch for each trough. It knows which scoop or hole it's gone into, but
not on Pro. Okay, so it's like an opto or something. Like it knows when a ball's in there or not, right? I mean, yeah. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, it's a big fix. But I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't love this. I don't love it. But if they're gonna send that to everybody, to me, it's like if you're a homeowner, you could probably get away without these things, but you just made that scoop shot harder. Nothing's ever going to fall into it. And with these big old rubber pads, that ball's coming flying out. I mean, as a
the bounce
player,
back you're going to get off
Travis,
that?
are you puckering up over there with that bounce back you're going to get from these bright blue bumpers? Yeah.
I don't like it. I'll just put it that way. I'd rather, I mean, so it's funny. We, down at TPF, they actually had a premium version of this out of box, just brand new. And it had that on there. And that was the first time I'd ever seen it. And I played it, the very first time I played it, it was so jarring that I think I scored maybe 3 or 4 million points. Yeah. And I just said, forget it. Like, I don't even want to mess with it. I probably missed that scoop at least 2 or 3 times actively shooting for it just to try it. Even though it wasn't going to lead to anything, I just wanted to see what it was like. And it just, I was not a fan of it.
So Dakota Mike's really brought up a good point. Why is this scoop so problematic? What is it about this scoop that they've had to go through this extreme to add these types of bumpers? I mean, there's been scoops on games forever that don't even have a metal protector and the wood's fine. But then Stern themselves have had awesome metal protectors, and now I understand the original scoop protector was super thin, but why? And the scoop is too narrow.
Scoop is too narrow, and the beveled edge is really what caused the problem because the protector was 90 degrees, right? And the playfield was beveled, so every time the ball went into the scoop, it would rattle around in, and as it's doing that, it's banging onto the corners of the 90 degrees and causing the flaps to bend inwards, and your ball was getting stuck.
So what are these big bumper? I mean, is it just because we now have a vertical wall that's holding down the edge of the scoop? Is that where, I mean,
Yeah, it's a significantly thicker metal that looks like it's holding it in place. And I mean, it doesn't look pretty.
so why not unbevel the play fields that hasn't been cut yet? Yeah, that would be awesome that would be awesome if future ones, but then people are going to be pissed, right? Like, give me a whole new playfield. If you had to remake a playfield to fix your design flaw, then give me a whole new one. I don't know.
I mean, I've seen some really chewed up ones already too after,
Yeah.
some play with the original protectors taken out.
But that
How is your scoop in the Rush? Is there any?
mine is fine. I don't have any of the, like, I know Pinmonk and there's others have shown like some on location ones that are just destroyed, but there's no current wear on mine, but I'm not playing it nearly enough to destroy it. But to me, I mean, if I owned this Rush, sure, I would get this, but I think I'd give that Ninja Camp thing a shot, just because visually that's the way to go.
You take those bumpers off, like, are they just screwed onto the side there? Can you remove them that way?
I think they are screws.
I
yes,
think so.
Joel never hits the
they're
scoop,
like
so no
they're
problem.
the same. Yeah,
Thanks, Victor.
those bumpers you can see them similar
Yeah.
on the time machine ramp. You can see them on the sides there. I
Back
think.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the same thing, but they look a little thicker,
They're way thicker.
chonkier.
Yeah. It's just an eyesore. It's right there in the middle of the play. I mean, it's like right up in your face.
I just don't understand why they thought they needed that, beyond the thicker metal itself, why they needed those side bumpers. Like, it was almost like they didn't want any side action or the ball coming in on the side. Maybe they thought that was a problem where the ball, I don't know.
Yeah, my guess would be is just whatever material that they got, it probably wasn't what they expected. I guess due to supply chain issues, I imagine a lot of these materials aren't exactly the same as they would have been a couple of years ago. So what you're seeing is you're seeing a lot of cheaper versions being created out of this. So I imagine that something like this was probably not expected, because it's obvious that Stern, for whatever reason, because remember when this game was revealed, it didn't have a protector on the scoops during the dead flip reveal. So this wasn't something that Stern necessarily caught in-house before they all went out. So I'm pretty sure now that we're seeing something like that, they obviously think that there's still potential there for that type of scoop protector to still kind of bend up a little bit. So I think that's why they have those two giant, I guess, blue rubber pieces right there, kind of covering up and preventing a lot of horizontal action on it, because they don't feel like the vertical action is going to affect it as much, whereas horizontal action obviously will start bending that up a little bit too. But if you look at it also, because that's there, it'll probably prevent that side scoop from being hit from like a dead on shot as often as it would be, because that would kind of bend that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I think that would have to be, I would think that would be the reasoning behind that, just to kind of kill two birds with one stone with that. But yeah, I think a large part of this is that just the way that the material is made probably changed from what their expectations were initially.
Victor, Pinmonk's saying the bumpers that are shipping are black. That's better. That's definitely better if it's black. Helps, still ugly. I don't know. I mean, the fact that it is a separate part, I don't know. I don't own my game. If it was my game and I didn't go with the Ninja Camp route, I would probably just start with just the metal thing at the bottom. But I don't think I'd do the bumpers. But oh man, right when we're about to shut down, Joe Hills coming in with a raid with 247 viewers. So
wow,
yeah, Joe, thank you, man. You are too kind to the pinball community, man. I don't know how many of you are coming in from this raid that have seen my stream before, but hey, we could chat it up for a little while longer. Why not? Thank you, Joe, for the raid. Yes, my name's Joel, and going around the circle here, my name's Joel, we got Craig, Travis, and Mike. We're all pinball nuts, and normally every other week we just try to chat it up. We just try to chat it up about some of the pinball news and whatnot. So Anybody that's in chat, feel free to. I'm allergic to non-pinball people. Trump, yeah, Trump Patchy. Sorry, man. So yeah, anybody that came in with the raid, feel free to say whatever or ask any questions you have. But right now, we're actually looking at this is Stern's latest game. This is Rush Pinball, and believe it or not, these games sometimes there's things in these games that are broken or kind of designed poorly out of the factory. So we're actually looking at a video of how to improve or fix one of the parts of the pinball machine, which was the scoop. So yeah, I don't know. What do you? Is there anything else that the four of you guys want to chat about now that we have a few more people here that are apparently want to listen to us ramble?
Well, why don't you go back to that topper again, Joel, just so we can look at it a little closer.
Oh, the Elite Topper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sending you a pic of the black version to your email. Oh, cool. Thank you, Victor. Monsters Inc. Pinball. Have you guys played? What's your opinions? Monsters Inc. Iceman. I don't think there is a Monsters Inc. pinball machine.
Maybe Monster Bash.
Monster Bash. Yeah, Monsters
Perhaps.
Bash is a fantastic pinball machine. Elite toppers. If any of you guys are new to pinball, what in the world's a topper? Okay, so a pinball machine, just like a Harley, once you buy a pinball machine, you don't just play the pinball machine as is. Like, you got to make it your own. It always seems like an owner's going to make it their own. What's the first thing someone should learn about pinball? Well, a key is how to play the game. So know where the start button is, quarter up, coin up, boom, hit start. And then second, the goal of pinball is not to just keep the ball alive. The goal is try to play a little more controlled. So do your best. Don't flip both flippers at the same time. Just try to slow it down as much as you can. Play controlled. And if you're trying to figure out what you're aiming for, whatever's flashing, shoot the flashing light. So it's a pinball designer's job to communicate to you through the pinball machine on what to aim for. So shoot the flashing light. So what we're doing here. This is it's a pinball topper. I was saying you want to make the game your own. Well, there's a Pirates of the Caribbean game, and there was a company that went out of their way to make a ridiculous topper to put on this game. So this is just something that literally sits on the top of the game. It's just decorative, and that's an entire LCD screen back there and a Kraken, and yeah.
That screen is really cool. I really like that they added that screen there.
Yeah.
That definitely helps with the immersion of the topper for sure.
100%. Yeah. Which is crazy. I mean, it's literally just a decorative toy that sits on the top of the machine. So
Now, does that have LED lights behind it that
Yes,
kind of
it does.
backfill
illuminate
everything?
that go on the
Yeah.
back wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a PC game from the late 90s. Didn't realize you guys were talking about actual physical. Yes, you're talking about Monsters Inc. Yes, physical pinball, man. It's awesome. Do people generously just customize aesthetic or they change mechanics too? A little, yeah, you can see it in the background. I got three machines in the background. Everybody with Travis. Travis, he's got a door and a flashing battery light in his camera. Yeah, Travis is killing it. Yeah, if you look here. So
I just moved. I'm trying.
Mike, how many games do you own? How many are in your basement?
Right now we have 12.
12.
12 in the bunker.
12
yeah.
in his basement. I have 4. Craig's only got 1, but he's got more on order. And Travis, he's got a few. We're just giving Travis a hard
I have
time.
like 18, I think,
Yeah.
somewhere.
So pinball.
You're right. My camera's about to die again, isn't it?
Your camera is about to die. Pinball is addictive, okay? That's the thing. You buy an Xbox, you have your Xbox. Or you buy a PC, you have your PC. And then adding additional games, piece of cake. Not a problem. You buy a pinball machine, that pinball machine is just one game. So if you want another pinball machine, you gotta get a whole nother game, and you gotta find space for it. So I don't know. We're all crazy, but yeah, that's really so yes, the pinball topper is pretty cool. Do we customize aesthetics? Yes, a lot of, like, if you look at Craig in the background, you can see his shooter knob. So right directly over his shoulder's covering it now. That's like just the shooter knob that's lit up.
Side.
Yeah, that doesn't change at all how the game plays, but it looks cool. So yeah, some of them are aesthetic. Like on mine, I have these speaker light kits. Totally aesthetic.
Mine are pretty stock. I don't have. Well, I
Yeah.
have some A's over my speakers on Avengers, if you can see. And I did change the T molding on a lot of the games
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Like you can see the yellow T molding around the
Oh,
Avengers
yeah.
there,
Yep.
just to kind of give it a little spruce up instead of the black.
But some of them are just aesthetic. Other ones, there are mods. There are mods. Believe it or not, if you're playing a pinball machine and you're playing it a long time, sometimes your flippers actually, the coils that run the flippers get hot. So Pinmonk, there's a guy who is here in chat. He makes like PC fans that actually mount to your flippers to keep them cool. So yes, that actually changes how the game plays. Or it could be little edits on, certain ramps or other things. So the TNA I'll be streaming next week has custom green acrylics. Yes, so Joe Hills knows.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. Are
Solves.
those the translucent ones?
Yeah.
The translucent plastic protectors
are
are really
cool.
nice. I have them on
Mhm.
all my games there. I love the way they glow with the LEDs underneath in the GI.
Yeah, there's some
So,
really cool stuff there.
Somebody did ask earlier in the chat if there's places online to find pinball machines near you, like pizza places and stuff. So Joel, do you know the answer to that?
Yes is the answer. Yes, there are ways to find where those at. There's what is it? Pin Map. There's an app.
Pinball map or something.
Pinball Map is
Yeah.
fantastic. Let me share this real quick.
There's
is
another one on pinside.com
Pinside,
too. Yeah, they have a pin map on there that's actually really good.
So this is what Victor just sent me. So instead of the blue bumpers, here are the black ones.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Victor, for sending that. He
So
also
yeah, it does look like you can pull that out.
He also sent me this picture. Thank you, Victor, for that. Yep, everybody needs to see that. Dalton's here. Do a tap pass, everybody.
Those eyes are just go right through you, don't they? They
Dude,
just
I don't.
cut
I
you
need
right
Tom's
down.
photo back up for me, Joel, please.
God, this guy doesn't know how to charge it. So everybody that's still here, we still somehow managed to keep over 200 people that are watching this stream. Travis, thanks for being a professional, man, and charging your camera. I really appreciate that.
Anytime. Out of the four of us here, only
there we
one of
go.
us gets paid for content creation, I guess. And
it's
I'm
you.
screwing it up.
So if you guys are wondering why Travis Murray's camera isn't moving anymore, it's because he doesn't know how to charge a battery. But so yeah, anybody that's still here, Pinside, Pinside. Here we go. Pinside.com. This is where all of us pinball people freak out. We geek out here. So if you want to know, are there pinball machines in your area? Just search it. Open Pinside map. And yeah, this is what's pretty cool. It shows all the so I actually live in the Indianapolis area, so we can see all the blue lights are owners. So it actually shows like people, so you can see people that share their collection. So you can see, oh, I live in, let's say, hypothetically, Noblesville, Indiana. Here's all the people like me, Joel Bob, and it shows the games that I own, which is really cool. So it's a real cool way to meet people. And so those are the blue dots, and then the purple dots are locations. So if you want to know if there's pinball machines in your area, check it out. Pinside.com, doxed on stream. Yeah, Noblesville, Indiana. That's where I live. Come say hi. Check
plus
this out.
On there too, an easy way to find places, if you just click off of Pinsiders and then go to minimum game count and up it by around 10, you can usually find pretty good locations if you're traveling anywhere in the country that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, so check that out. Locations mean like businesses that have pinball. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you live in Noobsville.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
bars, restaurants,
Pinside.com.
arcades.
If anybody, if you're trying to figure out, hey, I want to get into pinball, and give it a shot, man. If you know of anybody that likes pinball, just all you have to do is tell them you're interested, and they're going to invite you over to play the games, or they'll want to go out to a pinball area with you. Pinball, like any other game, if you have somebody who knows what's going on, they can teach you, they can show you. There's so much going on in these games. It's really, really cool. Put young Joel as Travis's cam. No, we don't need more pictures of me on camera. But hey, by the way, the three of you, I know we're way over time. So if any of you guys have to go, it's no.
No,
big
it's
deal.
all good.
I was really surprised to find owners with 20 plus games in my area. Absolutely. I mean, I'm telling you, pinball people are like anybody that owns a pinball machine, they just want people to play them. Like they want to share this hobby with other people. So if you're interested, get involved. Sign up on Pinside. Check it out.
Look at there's Rushville.
Rushville. Oh yeah, Rushville in Indiana. Yeah. Joel's also happy to share his DaVinci Mode collection with you. What? Yeah. Any other things? I mean, we got a lot of people here. We're talking. Yeah, but when I break the machine, everyone loses their mind. Yeah. Rationing my quarters between pinball at the bar and laundromats. Dude, yeah. Is there a theme for pinball machines you'd like to see more of? Well, we can look at this. We can look at Stern Pinball they're the biggest pinball manufacturer right now. There are other pinball manufacturers out there, but these are their most recent themes. So you're going to see a lot of dad rock. We got Rush, we got Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, Iron Maiden. So we got plenty of rock themed pins out there. But then we also have a lot of comic book themes and like Mando. So we have Godzilla, Mando, Mandalorian, Avengers, Turtles, Stranger Things, Elvira, which is a pinball theme or kind of like Elvira, exactly. Elvira, which was a kind of a campy old show, Jurassic Park, Deadpool, Star Wars, Guardians of the Galaxy. So all big, like well-known themes. So thank you for the site. There are approximately 2 in my town I never knew of. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'm glad if you Pinside, man, Pinside, check it out. Go play some pinball and tell Joe Hills. I know Joe's really getting into it. So tell Joe that you played and he'll be all for it. I don't know is there a theme for pinball machines? I mean, to be honest, growing up, my favorite theme was Turtles. So when Stern made Turtles a few years ago, I bought it. You can see it in the corner of my picture here. I know Mike and Craig are both Canadians, so they were pretty pumped when Rush came out. Yeah. Travis is a huge Avengers fan, so Travis bought Avengers. So theme sells, but to be 100% honest, theme can get you into pinball, but what will keep you in pinball is code. Like once you really start to find the designers, there are a bunch of different designers. Every designer kind of has their thing. Once you find shots and layout that you really like, you're going to find designers that you're going to love. You're going to find people that code games that you love. Those are the games that keep you coming back in. But theme is actually what will get you. Yeah. Mario Kart pinball. Video games. Video games are the one avenue that really has not been pushed in pinball yet. Minecraft would be huge. Mario, anything Nintendo. Pinmonk mentioned Mad Max. I would all be for Mad Max. All be for. Yep. My Minecraft house is based on Plastic House. And that's awesome, Joe Hills. That's awesome. Yeah.
Theme becomes a little less important the longer you get into the hobby. I found that for me at first, it was always like, I needed to have this machine because it was the theme. It wasn't necessarily the machine itself. But then the further down you get, the more you're into the pinball, you do realize it becomes more of a, how does the game play? What's the code like? Is it deep enough? That's what's most important now, as opposed to the theme of the game.
Yeah, they've talked a lot about like Pokemon. Like, Pokemon would be it, to be on, like, if Stern or any of the pinball manufacturers could actually get a hold of a video game theme, that could be huge. That could bring in a huge group, that really hasn't been touched. But I know a lot of video game, licensors are very protective. They want to make sure, how would you bring Minecraft into pinball? Like, and would it feel totally different than Minecraft? And I don't know. I don't know that answer, but
I think those licenses might be expensive too. Like, I don't know that you're going to get a Nintendo game again. Like, there was a Mario game like the Gottlieb, right? But I don't know if they'll be able to do that again. Yeah,
I don't know either. But hey, if any of you guys are really interested in pinball, yes, I stream pinball. That we just do these chatting streams every 2 weeks. So check us out, or you can see it over there on the right on the Flipping Out stream. Feel free to follow that. And then over the fourth person on the right, Mike there, he has his own stream, the Pinballers. So feel free to check him out as well and follow him. If you want to listen to people talk about pinball, find the Pinball Network on any of your podcast stuff. Check them out. I have a show on that, which is Triple Drain podcast, and then Craig Bobby, he's part of the Pinball show. So there's plenty of pinball media out there if you guys really want to dip your toes in and get involved. And then if you're actually at that point of wanting to buy a game, feel free to check out Flipping Out. Flipping Out with Zach and Nicole. Or you can search the Pinball Company and support Travis. So feel free to support him as well. So there's plenty of stuff out there. I know people are always surprised that pinball's still a thing. But it is, and there are avid fans for it. So it's getting late. Is there any other questions from anybody in chat? Anything else that we can cover or talk about? But yeah, anybody in chat. I mean, like I said, we normally do these conversations, these chatting streams every few weeks. So feel free to follow the Pinball Network. Otherwise, most of the other people on this stream play pinball. So yeah, Joe, thank you so much for the raid, man. I'm glad. Hey, even if we only introduced a few people to some pinball machines in their town, that was absolutely worth the raid. So thank you, Joe. Thanks for sharing your passion with it. Absolutely, man. Anything else? Anything the four of you guys? I mean, we have an audience here that's pretty new for this. So anything else you want to share?
No, we covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think kind of like Tom. I've got nothing. I think we've exhausted all the news and everything.
There we go. There's Tom.
I have nothing more to say.
There we go. Thank you, Tom. Got nothing more to say. Let's watch the sun come up together. Yeah. So thank you for all the follows. Thank you. Thanks a bunch. So all good. All right. Well, real quick. Yeah. Plug away, man. Craig, we'll go around, we'll plug, and we'll close this out.
Yeah, like Joel said, you can hear me every week on the Pinball Show with Zach and Dennis. I do the Stern News on there. And if you want to reach out by email, my email is cbobby, which is SEEBOBBIE @gmail.com.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Craig. Thanks for being on. And then we are definitely going to raid, by the way. So if anybody actually wants to see some pinball playing, we're going to raid another pinball streamer here after this. So feel free to stick through that. Craig, go for it, man. Sorry, not Craig. Yeah, Mike, go for it, man.
You can catch me on Pinballers on Twitch Mondays and Fridays around 2:30 Eastern stream, and then on the Pinball Network on Tuesdays at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. We stream on the Pinball Network as well. So check us out. Give us a follow on our channel.
Perfect. What else do we have? Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah. Anybody, the people we're going to raid Colorado Pinball. There's some really good play, but the reason we're going to raid them is they're playing Addams Family. So a lot of you that are here in chat, you've probably played or seen an Addams Family pinball machine before. Addams Family, I think that's the biggest commercially made pinball machine with the DMD. So definitely, I would encourage you to stick around for the raid and watch them play that game and ask questions. You know, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to hit? Why are you trying to hit it? And you're going to realize really quick there's depth to all these games. So yeah, stick around for that raid. Travis, feel free to plug away, man.
Yeah, you guys can find me on the Triple Drain Pinball Podcast on any podcatcher that you have, and I am the second best co-host on there next to Tom Graff.
Yeah, and Tom is the picture because Travis doesn't know how to charge his camera battery. Sorry for the lack of professionalism with this stream. We really only have one person to blame, and I don't know why we keep inviting him back. But yes, Travis, thank you for being here. And then my name is Joel. I
appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, I do Just Another Pinball Podcast, Triple Drain Pinball Podcast, and then I stream for Flippin' Out. So if anybody that's here right now wants to actually see me play pinball, follow the Flippin' Out Pinball stream channel. So just search Flippin' Out Pinball on Twitch, and I'll be streaming pinball tomorrow night. So come say hi tomorrow night, 10 Eastern Standard Time to roughly midnight. So thanks for doing that. But otherwise, let's go ahead and get this raid going. So raid, and we're going to do Colorado. I got to spell it right. Let's see if I can do this. Pinball. Colorado Pinball. All right. I think that's good. So Joe, you can take your kids' rocks. Yeah. Thank you, Victor. Yes, my kid fell. Calvin mentions falling on rocks all the time, and it's my fault. But hey, appreciate it. Everybody who was here watching the stream, appreciate it. And then, the three of you guys definitely appreciate you being on tonight. This raid does take a little bit here, so we're gonna have this raid's gonna take about another, I don't know, minute. I don't know why it happens. It takes so long.
So we got like this awkward time where we just gotta fill in everything, right?
So just do what you do best, Travis, and just be weird. You know.
Hey, everybody thinks I'm Tom Graff, so it's okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I know it's Travis Turry. I forgot.
Travis Tory. Yeah.
Tory.
Yeah. Mike, you've had a fun-filled day of pinball. You were streaming earlier with some Rush, and
Did.
now chatting it up
Yeah.
for an
Yeah,
almost
no, that was
2.5
fun. It was
hours.
an little impromptu stream because I wanted to show off the new code, and we actually got to get to the current end of the game, I suppose. But there's
Yeah.
still plenty of more
Plenty more
coding
to
to
do.
go back in. So some of you guys, if you're coming from a video game stream or whatnot, it's no different. We have DLC for our games too, and it updates the games, it updates the codes, adds new features, tweaks features, all that sort of stuff. Except ours is free.
There we
So
go.
far.
There-
So far.
So far, it's free. Thank you, Victor. See you, Victor. Yeah, but all right. Well, I think that raid. I'm telling you, it's going to happen any second now. Probably right now. So enjoy
It's
the
done.
raid. There it goes.
I'm seeing it over in Colorado pinball now.
Sweet. Well, dude. All right. I think I'll go ahead and shut the stream. Anybody that's still here, thanks for being here. Let's go ahead and stop the stream and hope to see you guys.